in Dungeon World, barbarian is basically just like a person from a foreign and exotic culture who's kind of the fish out of water perspective. They have appetites that they're going for, whatever draws them away from their homeland to seek adventure. And so Tina has a couple of what they call Herculean appetites. And the barbarian class is much more like the old Conan, the novels from the 40s, 30s, Robert Howard novels. More like a scoundrel, not necessarily like the Arnold Schwarzenegger barbarian. Tina's compulsions are she's seeking out riches and property and fame and glory. So pretty much anytime Josh wants to get me to do something, he can just put those on the line and I will bite at the hook. I run around with a great big two-handed sword. And I basically try to play the tank role. Jessica's character, as you'll learn about, likes to get into trouble. And my job is to run around and try and put out fires and keep her from too much trouble while keeping all the bad guys hitting at me so she can kind of pick them off one after another. So that's kind of Tina in a nutshell, and we'll learn more about her as we play.
Do you want to really quickly talk about how she changed a bit when you leveled up to bring Jessica up to speed as well, or maybe?
Yeah. And so when you level up a character in Dungeon World, of course, you can increase your stats. You can increase one stat by one. You can also pick a new move. And for wizards or clerics, you can get new spells. So when Jessica levels up her wizard, we'll be able to add a spell to her spellbook. For Tina, what I did was first I used a Dungeon World barbarian move that lets me actually pick any one move from a fighter playbook. And I picked the fighter's signature weapon. And what signature weapon does is it kind of like Excalibur or any hero you can think of that has like, or any weapon that you can think of that has like a mythos around it. It turns out that Tina's old two-handed sword is actually kind of a special weapon to her. It's her signature. In her case, did I not put down? Oh, I put them on the other page, I think.
I remember that you added reach to it.
Yeah. So what I did is when I pick a signature weapon, I can add a couple of tags that make my weapon special for me to use it. And it's not like a Dungeons and Dragons, like a +1 sword or anything. What I did is I added reach to it, which lets me hit people a little bit farther away. It's a big two-handed sword. Now I can kind of use it to keep enemies at bay. And I added sharp, which gives me +2 to breaking through people's armor. The way armor works is it just reduces the damage you have. If I have 3 armor and you hit me for 4 damage, I only take 1 point.
Yeah.
I have sharp 2, which means that I cut through 2 armor. So yeah, I'm the can opener. And I kind of see this as just again part of Xena's frantic efforts to keep Jenka alive. I'm gonna try and beat people away from her and cut them up into small bits. That's what I did when I leveled. I think Jessica, do you want to go through the process for Tina or for Jenka, and then Morgan can start thinking about which non-barbarian, non-wizard playbook she would want to play.
Okay. So I'm Jenka Vals. I'm a wizard. And like the way that Andrew kind of described, I tend to find things kind of interesting and kind of want to prove my own talents. So sometimes I'll, against better judgment, go into a battle without Tina's assistance. He'll be plotting a plan, and I'm like, okay, and I'll follow along until I've gotten kind of bored, and then just jump in, which gets me into quite a bit of trouble. In our last game, I actually died and got introduced to
oh no.
Got introduced to wizards. Was it elves?
Yeah. Oh, Morgan, your audio cut out in a weird way, Morgan.
See?
It's back though. I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
So we found a pretty cool scene last game where I was introduced to different elves from different time zones, from like the past, present, and future. and they've sent me back with voices in my head, and they're kind of helping me figure out what I'm supposed to be doing as an elf. And they're not too fond of my relationship with Tina, but Tina and I have been playing or have been questing for a while now, and so we're trying to figure out our dynamics. So I think that's pretty much it in a nutshell, aside from the fact that my ways are pretty strange to Tina, just because they're kind of steampunkish looking. So I carry a staff that is kind of like a telescope that will expand and retract, which is a kind of cool object that I have. And then I also have like a little pocket watch that projects light, and I have like a pocket, I guess, Game Boy that helps me detect magic in the surrounding areas. So that's pretty much it from my character, I think.
So yeah, Jessica's
awesome.
got a really cool spin on her wizard. Like she said, she's very steampunkish, and instead of really having a spell book, she just has little gadgets that they're from an ancient culture, and she's trying to figure out what all they do. But for now, like when she prepares her spells, she just like charges up the one that does magic missile, and it's like a little stopwatch that like shoots out missiles, and it's a really cool way of doing a different wizard.
Yeah.
And now to walk Jessica through the level up process. And normally, Morgan, we started a little early. We usually try to start between 8:30 and 9, and we'll play until 11 or so. But we're starting a little early.
The late start is my fault.
No, you jerk.
I know, what an
asshole. So we look at the special move sheet, and there's a level up move. It's actually all written out for us what we do. When you have downtime, hours or days, and again, our characters just got back to town, so we can kind of do it that night, and XP equal to or greater than your current level plus 7, you subtract your current level plus 7 from your max XP, and you increase your level by 1. So Jessica, how much XP total did you have?
All I know is that I'm a level 3 now with 2 remaining XP, so I don't remember.
So what we'll do is we'll go through the level process once, and then we'll do it again. That way, make sure you get everything coming to you. If you're the wizard, you also get to add a new spell to your spell book, and we'll go through that in a moment. Or you'll choose a new advanced move from your class. If you're the wizard, you also get to choose a new spell from your spell book. Do you have that little binder with you, Jessica, that has your wizard character sheet?
No, I don't.
I'll bring it to you right now. And then you're also going to choose one of your stats to increase by 1. So kind of look over your character sheet, figure out which stat you'd want to increase. And Josh, I'm still logged in as a GM right now, just so I can kind of look at her sheet and see what's going on.
Yeah,
I'll switch over when time comes.
I don't have anything hidden, so you're fine.
Okay.
And then I'll just sort of talk about what we've done so far once we get through the level up process.
Yeah.
So, and Morgan, I haven't really run a game before this in a long time, so I'm just sort of muddling through the best I can.
When we talk about the advanced moves, we're talking about these ones. Here, when you gain level from 6 to 10, you start with a master and take these, so you're looking at just these right now.
Okay.
And then when you're looking at spells, at level 2, you'll get a first level spell, and at level 3, you'll be able to take a third level. So let's look through here, and I'm going to get back on the mic. We can kind of look through that and see which ones you like.
Okay. No, totally. I'll be probably more.
I'm getting a little bit of that audio distortion again. I don't know if I'm the only one.
No, I'm getting it too. I can't hear Morgan.
So no worries.
It sounds like
earbuds and a microphone. So I'm gonna try that.
Okay. I
Yeah,
think
it's
it's
weird.
the Iowa one.
Yeah, it's like you're like slowing down and kind of stop, like kind of hiccuping in and out.
And so, Jessica, I'm looking at the sheet with you. Do any of those advanced moves? You'll end up taking 2 of them, but we probably want to do one first and then another.
Maybe the arcane ward, so I can have +2 armor.
Okay. Yeah, as long as you keep at least 1 prepared spell available, you get +2 armor. I think for
You
the way
guys
you play
hear me any
Jinka,
better?
yeah,
Yes.
that sounds a
Yeah,
lot clearer.
That's a lot
Yep.
better.
Very good. And have you had a chance to start looking over the different classes? They're pretty standard D&D trope classes that you can play for Morgan. So Jessica, you like Arcane Ward? Is that the one you think you're going to take for 2nd level?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll
Looked and
add
I
that.
couldn't seem to find. Oh, you were talking to me. Sorry.
I'm going to add a move for you, Jessica, onto Jenka's sheet for Arcane Ward.
Go for it.
Actually, instead of, well, no, I can copy and paste from my file, so it's a little easier. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click +add below the moves,
Mhm.
and I'm going to copy and paste from a PDF. That way you don't have to type everything. And this one doesn't have any sort of roll associated with it. I'm probably, Josh, you mind if I just add 2 armor to her?
No, that's fine. Because
So
it's
to do
sort of
that,
it's sort of always on unless she's out of spells, right?
yeah, yep. So I'm going to add a piece of gear, and I'm just going to call the piece of gear Arcane Ward. I'm going to make it armor type. And now she should, oh, she's not reflecting the 2 armor. And then Jessica, also, you're going to choose one of your different stats, and you get to add a +1 to the stat.
I added it
Oh,
to
looks like-
strength.
Okay, good deal. And then we get to do that one more time.
I'm going to add that one to charisma, and I think I already did that too.
Okay. I'm showing under strength that you have weakness checked, -1. Is that, Josh, do you remember that she was weak? Or should I uncheck it?
Uncheck.
Yeah, I've unchecked it. You get those usually as like an effect from being hit by poison or a spell or something.
Oh,
So your strength is up. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out why your armor is not showing. Do you have your 2nd move that you want to take?
advanced move, prodigy.
Nice. So when you're going to choose 2 spells, that would be really cool to use that on your 3rd level spell that you choose too. If we look at your wizard spell book or wizard playbook for prepare spells, you can prepare new spells of your choice from your spell book whose total levels don't exceed your own +1. So you're going to be able to prepare 4 levels of spells at 3rd level. It could be 1 3rd level spell and 1 1st level spell. If you use Prodigy on a 3rd level spell, you could actually do a 3rd level spell and 3 other 1st level spells, right?
Mhm.
If you put it on a 1st level spell, it becomes basically a cantrip. You can prepare it for free, like all the other cantrips.
Okay.
So are any of the spells jumping out at you?
For the 1st level, I'm thinking maybe telepathy. And then for 3rd level,
Third level spells are awesome.
Yeah.
Made a mistake copying and pasting telepathy, and it was just telepathy, which I think would being empathic with elephants.
Alright.
So we've got telepathy, and what's your third level?
Maybe fireball?
Oh fuck! Oh no! Now Jenka can set everything on fire. Josh, I would just like to be said that he is always soaked in water.
Unless you roll a 6-.
And so, Jessica, you took Prodigy. You can knock Fireball down to first level. Wait, is it by one level or one level? So Fireball would essentially become a second level spell.
Okay.
So you could do that plus 2 first level spells, or you could take a first level spell and knock it down to rote, so it doesn't actually cost to prepare it. It's just always prepared, kind of like your light spell and Unseen Servant and Detect Magic, all those. So what spell do you want to use?
Let me ask a question really quickly about that. If she moved a level 1 spell down to level 0, and if she rolled a fumble essentially to where she could lose the spell or would lose the spell, would she then not lose it because it's not a prepared spell?
That's not quite right. As I remember, the rotes are still prepared. It's just free to prepare them along with the others. So you can still lose it until you prepare spells again.
Got it.
So, do you know which spell you'd like to make cheaper to cast, Jessica?
I would like to make Fireball cheaper to cast, and probably Magic Missile and Telepathy.
I think just one of them is.
Then Magic Missile.
Fireball, Magic Missile. So that basically means every time you prepare spells, you can, for free, do Magic Missile again.
Okay.
I'm changing it on your character sheet to become a rote.
Okay.
Oh, I see what you're asking though, Josh. That prepared button disappears from the character sheet.
Right.
But I think that's just a programming decision they made for some reason. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for leveling up your character, Jessica. Jenka is now level 3. And Morgan, have you thought about what you want to play? Actually, Josh, I'll get out of your way. I'll let you run that, and I'll just answer questions.
That's right. Well, let me tell you a little bit about what's happened so far, and then maybe that'll contribute to what you want to play.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, so we started with Tina and Jenka sort of on an escort mission, basically escorting a caravan from a small farming community. And it was a number of carts that were on their way to kind of a medium-sized city to sell off their crops and their goods. And they were attacked along the way. Oh, I hear myself. They were attacked along the way by a troop of goblins.
Oh no!
And the goblins were sort of unusual in this territory. They're sort of mountain-dwelling creatures, and we're weeks travel away from the mountains. So there's this mystery of why there are goblins in this sort of forested area. But the goblins attacked. Tina and Jenka were able to fend them off. There was one casualty of one person on the wagon train, but they led the troop into town, went to an inn, and started talking to people in the inn or in the tavern about what had happened, and everybody sort of laughed them off and said, no, there's no goblins around here. You're crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it was Jenka that pulled the head of a goblin out of her bag and said, well, here's one. And So sort of convinced the locals that something might be up, and were hired by the innkeeper, who seems to maybe have something else going on as well, to go out into the woods and kill as many of these goblins as they could. So they took a guy from the tavern with them, sort of a big oaf of a warrior, and went goblin hunting in the woods, and ended up finding finding the way to where the goblins were, disarmed and avoided some traps, and in one of the melee found a little golem, basically a little tiny construct, that started babbling to them about sort of strange places and strange things that didn't make sense to them.
Interesting.
And he said, these goblins are supposed to help me find my way home. If you'll help me, I'll tell you right where they are. And so they struck up a deal, and this golem led them to the goblin camps, where they, again, had sort of a big encounter with some sort of crude technology wielding goblins and their chieftain. Ended up dispatching all of them. But as Jenka was about to lay the killing blow on the chief, he countered and killed her.
Oh
no. She was sort of woke up in Elysium, which is the elven afterlife, and was offered a deal by this, what appeared to be a council of elves from all different ages that have happened and some that haven't come yet, to say, you can stay here in the afterlife and be at peace and be where you belong, or you can go back. But we're going to be watching you, and we're going to be letting you know what we want along your journeys.
Interesting.
And she offered to take the deal, or opted to take the deal. Woke up with Tina in the woods. They took off and ran before another goblin troop broke through the underbrush to find them.
We bravely ran.
Yes. And made it back to their horses and made it back to town. And that's essentially the Cliff's Notes version of where we are now.
It's where they're at now, right?
Yeah, so they made it back to the inn and turned in, was it ears that you were collecting from the goblins? Some goblin part.
I think we made a bad deal and we had to bring the whole heads back.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's right. And sadly, you didn't get the little cart that the one goblin was riding around on because it got destroyed. Yeah, they brought a bunch of goblin heads back and got paid off for them. And
oh man,
that's where we left off.
Love it. Sounds awesome. Well, I was considering I'm probably going to either do something a little bit different, because I usually, when I play games like this, I'm usually what these guys are already playing. I'm either the tank or a wizard or something like that. So I think I'm going to go with either a bard or a paladin. I've never played a paladin before in my life. I think I have something against them, so maybe I need to play one and maybe just really break the mold here. Maybe I should do that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I might do that, but add some maybe sanctimonious comedy to the affair.
Sure.
But maybe not. Maybe I'll go with a bard. I don't know. I feel a bard can maybe sometimes. I'm looking at it now. I have 2 smartphones, Lon's Story, and I can, for some reason, get Roll20 to open up better on the one than I can the other, but not the same one that I'm on Google Chat with. So it's a little bit of a different scenario, but hey, it's working so far. And I'm going to continue looking. I was looking in it before, and I'm going to look at this. It's still a little small, so I can't get all of it to work, but I'm looking at the classes.
Let me share an insight into the bard, or I'm sorry, the paladin. You really have a
Yeah.
lot of leeway to make your own, your own focus on what sort of deity or whatever, whatever ideal you might pledge yourself to.
Yeah.
So you don't have to play the necessarily like Sir Galahad sort of paladin. The big defining thing for them is, they are some way divinely authorized to do what they're doing, and they get a quest. You get to choose a big quest that you have to identify to the GM and the players.
Okay.
And as long as you're on that quest, you get to choose up to 2 bonuses that you always get. One of them can be senses that pierce lies. So you always know if you're being lied to or if there's illusions or whatever.
Oh, that sounds pretty sweet.
So you get to choose 2 of those bonus boons. And then the GM will tell you what vow or vows is required. And as long as you roleplay keeping those vows, you keep the boons. And when you change quests, either by choosing a new one, failing one, or completing one, then you can kind of get new boons and vows. So it's really not defined necessarily as the you can definitely play it as the fun kind of sanctimonious humorous paladin. I'd love to see you play that, but you're not going to be in a tight box where the class makes you do things. It'll be your choices to play that way, which could be a lot of fun. And bard is pretty standard bard. Lots of music and kind of charisma and playing the crowd and doing little things that kind of boost the party with spells or deal damage or little healing.
Yeah, I thought it might be a good helper one, like to kind of try to help out. But the paladins have more healing, do they not? How are we on healing?
We don't have any. Jenka definitely is going to be challenging us on that. She's as the wild card. She kind of jumps in.
That's great, though.
Oh no, it's fantastic, and that's been a lot of the kind of play of our characters. Is I pictured I'd be the reckless one, and instead I'm like, oh shit, where'd she go? She's up there hitting the goblins with sticks.
That's great, though. That's fantastic. I can't wait. This is going to be fun. Yeah. So
Paladin does.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Paladin does get to lay on hands. You can touch people, and you can roll and try to heal damage. If you do a 7 to 9 on your roll, you actually take the damage or whatever you're trying to heal onto yourself. So it's kind of cool give and take.
Yeah, I like that though. I like that, and then I can die gloriously, and then perhaps make a new character or whatever happens. That could be fun. Okay, so I'm looking, and it looks like to set it up. I'm looking. I'm seeing mostly like what it can do, like Holy Smite and everything like that. Where do I set up stats?
I'm actually creating a character sheet for you in Roll20. Are you able to access it on the other phone?
Yes.
Let me move it. It's got a really weird name. I'm gonna just rename it Morgan real quick, and you can change the name.
You don't like Fluglak? Ixafu?
Fluglak Ixafu.
Oh my god. I was thinking more. I was going to do more Thaddy or something like that, but we do that Fluglak.
The random name generator in here is absolutely hilarious.
I love it. Okay.
There's nothing wrong with Ixafu.
I think that would be a lovely name for a daughter. What do you think?
Yeah, unfortunately, we already picked one, so. we can't change it to Ixafu. She already tells people what her name is.
What does she tell people her name is?
Oh no, she tells people her name. She's like, what's your name? I'm Charlie.
Oh shit, Josh, there's PC and NPC. There's a NPC mode for character sheets. They've reprogrammed these character sheets since the last time I played Dungeon World Online, and I'm pretty stoked by what they've got.
Whoa, that is cool.
Yeah, I just opened it up. It's pretty neat. Okay, so I'm just gonna. So when I roll these stats,
we'll assign a stat line.
Sweet.
I'm just trying to remember real quick. Oh, here. There's a way that we can populate a lot of the information for you, just to make it easier. And I was forgetting how to do it, but now I remember.
I knew we kept you around for some reason.
One of the designers of Dungeon World is works for Roll20 now. One of the game creators, and I think that's why they've given this character sheet a lot of love and made it.
That's really nice, though.
As I'm kind of putting together a character sheet for Braxton, none of the scores are quite low enough for his intelligence.
Braxton's badass. He's our NPC hireling that we adore.
Sweet.
I guess I'll just put the 8 there.
Okay, Morgan, your paladin sheets, the basics are laid out. And Josh, do you want to do it, or do you want me to walk her through the character creation real quick?
You can go ahead because you've created characters many more times than this. It would help for me to see it as well.
Let's do the stat line.
Is it going to hurt it if I have it opened up too? I'm not going to change it, but...
No, and actually, I'm done making changes. I'm going to get out of the way and let you make the changes.
Okay.
The first thing we're going to do is we're going to choose your stat line. In the Roll20 chat, I put in the stats that we have to choose from. And basically, it's a 16, which turns into a +2 bonus, a 15, which is a +1 bonus, a 13, which is +1, 12, 9, and 8. So what's your highest stat? Charisma is a really big one for
16. You. Would it be, won't I be using charisma a lot?
Charisma is what you're going to use to try and, like, you do a thing called I Am the Law, where you just give orders to NPCs and they just have to do it if you roll well. And you can just do all sorts of crazy shit with that. And they can either choose to obey you or attack you. Like, it doesn't necessarily. But
charisma is also the stat you're going to use for your healing.
Yeah, so I'm going to make that my big one.
Okay.
So okay. So charisma's going to be... Okay, so I clicked on it. It's not doing anything. That's the weird thing. Okay, I'm
where it says 10. Double click where it says 10 and just type a 16 there.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Okay.
You know, you're on a phone. If it's easier, if you tell me what you're deciding, I can do it on a computer, probably more simply.
That's probably actually the case, but I feel mean doing that.
Oh no, I'm happy.
I don't know. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's do the charisma is the big one, and then I would like to do, as far as the other one goes, I think I'd like probably some wisdom, because I'll be doing checks with that. Let's do that at 13, and let's make the dexterity. No, I'm gonna be. Yeah. Let's do the dexterity as the 15. And let's make the constitution really bad. Let's make me sickly.
Okay, so you're 8.
Yep, I'm gonna be kind of sickly. Sorry, guys.
Nope, it's
okay.
Especially since your healing risks damaging you. That's interesting that you already have like a bad case of consumption, and you're trying to make it feel better.
I think that my God is going to heal me.
There you go.
But I'm consistently wrong. He never does.
And in this game, healing is not too bad, because every time you rest up, you get half your hit points back just for resting.
That's not too bad. Oh, I forgot that my constitution has to do with my hit points. Maybe this was a bad idea.
Oh, it'll be fun. And every time you level, you'll get a +1 bonus, so you can pump it up as you level up.
Okay.
We've played 3 games, and Jessica and I are both at 3rd level already. And the difference between levels isn't that much, so it's not like you'll be way behind us at 1. You have a 12 and a 9 still to pass out. And you have a strength and intelligence.
Let's do the bigger on the intelligence and less on the strength.
Okay, so 12 intelligence and 9 strength. Okay.
Yep.
So I put a 0,
strength.
which is not right. Okay. And then
Can't
we
even
look at
lift
your.
yourself.
What's your character's name? You said Theo.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and go with something like extremely highfalutin. Let's do with Cassius. Let's do Cassius.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And then we choose a look. We choose first eyes. Do you have kind eyes, fiery eyes, or glowing eyes?
I have fiery eyes.
And then you choose.
And
good.
I'm bald. No, wait, no. No, I have a mohawk. That's what I have. I have a mohawk. And I'm going to have. Let me think about the fancy symbol for a minute, but I'm going to be really thin and not. I'm sickly thin. I'm not. Yeah, I'm just not very healthy.
There you
I
go.
have this really big, like Thor's hammer type of holy symbol. Yeah.
Very good.
And I'm the only dude in the group, I think, right?
Yes.
All right.
You're gonna be the shepherd.
You're right. I'm gonna be like this really just nothing really to write home about as far as, you know.
Let's look at alignment. Do you want to be lawful? And the effective alignment is during a game session. If you do the thing at least once, you get an XP. Otherwise, you play however you want. Lawful, if you deny mercy to a criminal or unbeliever, you'll gain an XP. Or good, if you endanger yourself to protect someone weaker than you, you gain an XP.
Is that the only alignments I have?
There are some other options. Let me pull open a list.
The only reason why I ask is I've never played anything other than like chaotic neutral. That's it. That's the best person I've ever played. I can play I can play lawful good and be. You're right. I was going to be a sanctimonious prick. Okay, let's just go all out. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. Let's go ahead and make me really, really good.
If you do lawful, it doesn't mean you're good. It just means you deny mercy to a criminal or unbeliever. So if you're sanctimonious.
Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. Yeah,
out.
I am sanctimonious and not in the way that I like. Yeah, let's do that one.
And
that's bad.
We'll get around to bonds in a minute. I think we'll. Go ahead, Josh.
I was going to say alignment in this game too is you're not really bound to anything. It's just there's like Andy was saying, since you're lawful, you get an XP if you deny mercy to somebody who doesn't fall into your belief system. It's just a way to incentivize you to sort of stick to your guns a little bit. But you can play as sort of chaotic or as you want to. You just don't get the XP for your
And I'm a big proponent of, if you're frequently not getting XP because you're not playing that particular alignment, changing the alignment. I mean, you can write a custom alignment if you need to.
Okay.
But if the alignment's getting in the way of the fun and you're just not going to play that way, this game is made all about you should be getting XP all the time, because you should be getting XP for doing the things that you want to be doing with the character. And if your XP rewards aren't structured that way, we change the rewards instead of changing how you want to play your character.
Yeah.
We'll come back around to bonds in a few moments, because I think maybe it'll help if Jessica and I talk about our character again real quick before you do a bond. But we're gonna look at your starting moves. When you you have lay on hands. When you touch someone skin to skin and pray for their well-being, you roll plus charisma. Then 10+, you heal 1d8 damage or remove one disease.
Cutting out a little bit. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. Am I cutting out to Josh and Jessica too?
You're fine with me.
It sounded good to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might be speaking very fast though. Well, you can read through your starting moves. They're fairly straightforward.
And am I going to find that in the Paladin class sheet?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
You'll see on the right hand side of the first sheet, starting moves, and there's a few moves chosen. And what we need to get around to is the quest move. And this might take some back and forth with you and Josh. So I'll let you guys kind of handle a quest.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to open. It's going to open. I know it is, but it's for some reason not wanting to at the moment.
Do you want to read
I
her
will get this.
read her the 3 quest options, Josh, and let her choose one?
Sure. So the 3 options are, and there's sort of all fill in the blanks. You can sort of, we can build them together to figure out what you want to do. But first one is slay blank, a great blight on the land.
Okay.
The second one is defend blank from the iniquities that beset them. And the third one is discover the truth of blank.
Okay. I'm going to say that I want to discover the truth of healing because I'm sickly.
Okay. So you get to,
Unless you don't think, if you think that's too broad, that's okay.
no, I don't think so. And I think it could make sense because as you sort of dive into that, I mean, mechanically we can make it work because as you level up, maybe you raise your con and you're not as sickly anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get to choose up to 2 boons. And I will read you what those are. An unwavering sense of direction to blank. So you can always find your way back to something.
Okay.
Invulnerability to blank. The examples they give are fire, edged weapons, enchantment. A mark of divine authority. Senses that pierce lies. A voice that transcends language. Or freedom from hunger, thirst, and sleep.
Okay. I think it would be most useful to have like the one about being immune to fire and weapons and things like that. Is it just magical weapons or what kind of weapons was that again?
Well, you can pick one thing that you're invulnerable to. They gave some examples that said you could pick like edged weapons, you could pick fire, you could pick enchantments. So I think that, I mean,
I think edged weapons would be good.
okay.
And you'll get to change the boons every time you change your quest. So
Right.
Nice.
it's not like this is a character set in stone decision.
Yeah.
And then there's also, let me just jump in on, it says a mark of divine authority. What that actually means, the game encourages you to say that. Maybe Josh asked a question, what does that mark look like? You know, is it a tattoo, a scar? Do you have a halo glowing above your head? And then it's up to you guys during the play of the game to figure out how that actually impacts the game. It's not like a +1 on rolls. It's, you know, maybe holy people see you and automatically want to follow you, even if it like pesters you. And criminals are afraid of you. You know, it's really up to us during gameplay to figure out how things like that work. So,
Yeah.
the ones that remained, if you get up to 1 other boon, and so as Josh said, an unwavering sense of direction to blank.
Let's do the senses that pierce lies.
Okay. Awesome. And so I have a character in a game that Andy's running that's got a similar thing to that. And I'll just tell you what he told me. That doesn't mean people aren't going to lie to you because people won't know that you can tell that they're lying. It just means you'll know. Right. So,
Yeah.
So that could make for some interesting situations.
I definitely think so. I think it'd be really interesting. And then I'm looking at my moves really quick because I finally got it to open.
I think to build on what Josh is saying, Tina will lie to you. That's a thing because she doesn't know that your senses work that way, at least to start. And so I'll be right up front with you. Like, you know, she's lying, but what she says is this, you know, and unless you tell me that you can smell my bullshit right away, Tina has no worry about the truth.
That's funny.
Okay, so
Okay.
And Cassius gets all of the starting moves, right? Lay on hands, armored, and I'm the law.
Yes.
Nice.
Cool. Was there some
Is there
shenanigans happening? Because Andy just covered the camera.
He's getting me a tea. Get me a tea.
He didn't know he was
that's
getting you a
sweet.
tea.
Get me a tea.
Okay, and then the vows that maintain the blessing. Do we need to do that too?
Yep. So what I had thought that we would do would be temperance.
Okay.
Which
Yeah,
basically
I could
means-
totally see that.
I mean, I think that fits along with, your fragile physical nature
Yep.
and sort of trying to figure out the way to master healing is that you're not going to
Mhm.
you're not going to drink, you're not going to philander around. So I think that's
This guy's just no fun.
that's just what you wanted, right?
He doesn't have to, and I mean, like, and that's this is gonna be weird because it's like you always in games like this, you always like go to the tavern for something for information, you know.
Mhm.
You always do that, so this is gonna be interesting. It's like, yeah, hello, I would like a Pepsi.
So I missed what the vows are, Josh. What were the,
I think that she had the sheet open so she could see them, but we only picked one, and we went with temperance.
okay. Perfect. And then I'd say walk her through gear, and then we'll be close to.
And then we'll do bonds and be good, right?
Yep.
Okay. So for gear,
Look at the back of the sheet, Morgan, or page 2.
It's under gear, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
So you start with dungeon rations, scale armor, some mark of faith. I think that didn't you say that it was like a big sort of hammer, like a Thor hammer?
Yeah, like a Thor.
Now you're saying that that's what your symbol looks like, but you're not saying that you carry around a giant
Yeah.
hammer.
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
And then we would pick your weapon. You can either do a two-handed halberd, or you can do a sword and shield.
Hmm.
I guess the advantage to the halberd is that it's a longer range weapon. It has longer reach. But if you do the
I'm not
longsword,
familiar with a halberd.
It's like an axe with a really long haft. Or
yeah,
you're just like cutting into heavy
Well,
armor.
being that my strength is really sad, I think I need a more dexterity based weapon if I do have one at all.
Could you do a
Could I use
longsword?
this? Is there a staff available at all?
I mean, I guess we could deviate from these two choices and do staff instead of.
Oh
either of them.
no! I'm so sorry. No, I'm so sorry. I think that I was looking for like the weapon sheet, and I was assuming there was something like that. But no, we can totally do that. Let's just do the sword.
I don't know that there's a reason not to.
No, the sheet guides you towards certain directions with the assumption that you can immediately pick up a staff and play. But there's really no reason that at character creation we don't find you on screen already holding a staff. There's no problem with that.
Okay, yeah, I would just like a kind of a simple staff. I look practically like a pacifist.
Okay. Do you wear armor at all?
No. Nope.
All right.
Now you get for free. You get some scale mail. So maybe.
Okay.
I mean, you can have it for free, but if you choose not to wear armor, maybe you just have some vestments, some sort of garb that you wear that's kind of your religious order or something.
Yeah, like holy protection. Let's see. There's like divine action that I'm seeing. Does that come later?
What's that?
I'm seeing later on in the sheet. That might be for leveling up. I'm looking.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep,
Every time you
that's-
level, you get to choose one of those.
Okay. All right. That's fine. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm trying really hard to get the sheets to work properly, and it just seems to be going on and on and on. And so I can't, I'm having difficulty telling, like, what do I use now for character creation and what I don't. So
No,
please
it's
forgive
fine.
me. But yeah, let's do like some kind of just some really rudimentary little, not very good armor. But I would at the very least wear like vestments.
Okay. And then lastly, for gear, you get to choose between either adventuring gear or more dungeon rations. Adventuring gear, I mean, essentially, and correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, adventuring gear is you sort of rationalize what you would have, right? Like if a situation comes up where you're like, oh, I wish I had some rope so I could do X, Y, and Z. If you had adventuring gear, you can say, oh, I've got rope in my adventuring gear. As long as we're not going like crazy with, oh, I have the key to the treasure chest that's in front of me that nobody knows about. I have it in my adventuring gear.
Yeah, it basically it saves time. You don't have to think of every scenario. You have a backpack full of shit, and we don't worry about what's in it until you're there. And it's any mundane thing that an adventurer might have packed.
Yeah.
Right.
So your choices are adventuring gear or more dungeon rations, which is food, dungeon rations, and a healing potion, which heals 10 hit points.
Let's go ahead and let's go with probably the adventuring gear.
Cool.
And that's it for character creation, except for bonds.
Okay. Have you played, Morgan, have you played Dungeon World before?
I think I did, but I may be thinking of something else. I think I may have been thinking of Burning Wheel or something like that. It's been a few years, but I do remember what bonds are as far as like trying to find how the characters connect to each other.
Got it. Okay.
We use them in Stars Without Number. Mike had us do bonds with each other. Mm-hmm. So it's the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and one other thing, you have a racial ability. All the races are very kind of not very limiting here, but for you, the presumption on Paladin is you're human. When you pray for guidance for a moment, so it can be just in the middle of an action, you can pray, what here is evil, the GM will tell you honestly. So that's something you just kind of always do.
I have to be honest.
Okay. Alrighty. So let's say, because it's the difficult thing about bonds is that my character hasn't really met you guys as characters yet because I haven't seen them in play. I'm going to say that since I kind of have the heads up that Tina lies, I'm going to say that I respect the beliefs of Tina, but I hope they will someday see the true way, which obviously I don't think that's ever going to happen. And then I'm going to say that what I know from Jenka is that she's a brave soul and I have much to learn from them.
Oh,
man. Sounds like she throws caution to the wind and she just goes for it.
I know Andy was praying that you'd take Jenka's misguided behavior endangers her very soul.
No, this is good. Excellent.
All right. So
I'm going to rejoin as a player, Josh, just so I'm no longer teaming.
So presumably you've got these bonds with both of them, and this is to all three of you, not just to Morgan. How have you all crossed each other's paths in the past? Like, obviously we're going to incorporate Cassius here pretty quickly as we start, but it seems like you all know each other a bit at this point. So where does that come from?
I think that I've been trying to become famous in this area. Like it's the farm league out here. I want to kind of make my name here, earn enough money to move up to the next bigger city and like make my name there. And so as I've been going around here, for whatever reason that Cassius is in the same area, we've probably run into each other, maybe even kind of crossed purposes from time to time. And I don't think we've ever fought or had like really crosswords, but maybe Cassius has like given me a little healing when I've shown up, but then like judged me, or I don't know. Does that sound fair to you?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Are you from the town that we're in?
I'm gonna say that I'm probably from the town. I used to be like the worst drunk in the tavern,
Nice.
and then I found this religion, and so you guys might know me. I may have if any of you guys were partiers, you guys may have known me when I was a partier. I
Oh my
still
God.
haven't I still
Yeah.
haven't gotten rid of the mohawk because I'm trying to be that hip, cool, happening type of, person. So yeah, all my drinking and all of my bad living caused me to be kind of sickly. So I think that's where, if any of you guys have like a past in this town, you guys might know me from there.
I in my head I pictured as Cassius's fall when you quit drinking, when you straightened up. That's been a sad moment in my life. So maybe we were old drinking companions. You were the first one.
Yeah,
that was
I can
welcome of
totally
me.
see that.
When I came here from a foreign land, you were the first one that like wasn't rude. But now like you
Yeah.
judge the shit out of me, and I'm like, just lighten
Yep.
up, brother. Have a drink.
Yeah. And you're like, geez, you're such a hypocrite.
So my bond for you is Cassius's ways are strange and confusing, and it's based around like why did you adopt this new like austere lifestyle?
The two of you are almost kind of morphing into like the angel and the devil on somebody's shoulder.
Oh, poor Jenka has us on her shoulders.
Oh no.
Well, I guess that would make a pretty good bond for me because I was thinking Cassius will play an important role in the events to come. I have foreseen it. So it just might be that where like they're the two little angels on my shoulder.
Oh no.
Very cool.
It'd be pretty cool though.
Okay.
And Josh, it may or may not help, but I think we had enough coin at the end of the last session to trigger that move we were talking about, the
Carouse?
carouse.
Mm-hmm.
That can often kind of start us off on a whole new trajectory. It might give you a good chance to bring in Cassius.
I remember that you were wanting to do that move at the end of the last game, but it was kind of getting late, so we stopped. Let me look it over real quick. Okay.
Oh man, I didn't write how much money we got from Clara
0.
last time. Do you remember, Jessica? Did you put it on your sheet?
Um,
Was it like 150 coin?
no, I think it was like 250 coin.
250 total, so we each took 125.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds right to me. Until one of you watches the YouTube video and realizes it's more. Wah, wah.
So Jessica, basically to trigger carouse, we have to spend at least 100 coin, which represents us going into the tavern in town and like buying a shitload of drinks for everybody and like telling them like, here's the cool thing we just did. The move is when you return triumphant and throw a big party, spend 100 coin and roll plus extra 100 coins of spent. Extra hundreds of coins spent. On a 10 plus, choose 3. On a 7 to 9, choose 1. On a miss, you still choose 1, but things really get out of hand. I'm going to put in 100 coin. If Jessica and that lets us just roll. If Jessica puts in 100, we get to roll plus 1. On a 10-9, we choose 3. We befriend a useful NPC. We hear rumors of an opportunity. We gain useful information. And we are not entangled, ensorcelled, or tricked.
I got to trigger your beginning of session move as well.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. Well, since we have a paladin in the group, I don't think I've asked you this one before, but is there any specific religious tradition within your barbarian culture, or what would that be?
I think that the barbarians, like we mentioned last time, there's those ruins from the ancient civilizations that we kind of avoid. there's a lot of a superstitious awareness of like powerful forces, things that like the civilized folks call gods and worship and pray to, but we've never undertaken like an academic study. We don't really worship them. We just try to avoid their attention. So it's like it's theistic, but we don't really worship anybody. We just try to fly under the gods' radars.
Okay.
We probably actually have some ritualistic stuff that we end up doing. Like our dogmatism is escaping the gods' notice. So like we'll on the equinoxes and the high holy days for the main people, whenever there's an eclipse, we cover ourselves with mud and hope that like the gods looking down, like, oh, they don't see us. We blend into the earth. So yeah, it's actually like an anti-religion of just stay away from them. So this paladin, as Cassius has become more and more religious, maybe I'm more and more like, oh God, I hope she doesn't bring any attention on me.
All right.
Oh no.
Mark an XP.
So
And then
for the barbarian, every beginning of every session, he asks me one question. If I answer it, I get an XP.
Nice.
And then Morgan, one question about Cassius really quickly.
Yeah.
How thin and sickly are we talking about? I mean, is this like?
I mean, we're kind of talking like prior meth head type of sickly. Like he has really fiery eyes. Like he's still in there. He's not completely fried out or anything, but he's losing his teeth. He doesn't have a lot of weight right now. He's just kind of sickly. I mean, like he's poisoned his body. His liver's not doing too hot. I don't know. Just
have you seen the movie The Machinist with Christian Bale?
No, I have not.
I'm gonna shoot you a link. I'm gonna put it in. I'll put it in the Hangouts and in Roll D20 because I don't know which one's easier.
Do you want me to watch it now?
No. It's just an image from the movie.
Okay, cool.
Of Christian Bale. He lost like tons and tons and tons of weight so he could look like this really sick person in this movie.
Yeah.
No, that makes me feel kind of sad.
And he actually, I think he auditioned for Batman while at that weight. Like,
yeah.
But he was
down really?
130 pounds or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that's what I'm picturing. You just super malnourished.
Yeah.
I'm probably thinking of like we had old Pete in the tribes that I came from. That he had sex with a cow and then caught something.
Oh my God!
And that's what happened to Pete. And I'm just like, Cassius. Yeah, you did something bad.
Oh man.
How quickly have you wasted away? Has it been just like the past couple of years?
No, I think like it's been the past 2 years, and maybe even like I went away to a different city and partied a lot more even than what you've seen, and then come back. But I mean, you've known people probably like that before, where it's like they'll live like this really kind of whacked out lifestyle, and then they'll swing over to the other side, and they'll just kind of go crazy with it. And I usually ad lib my characters where I make them up on the spot. So haven't put a whole lot of thought into this guy, but he's kind of coming through. So I think he'll come out more.
I'm actually picturing a guy I used to wait tables with that did a lot of cocaine when I knew him, and when I saw him years later, he'd fallen into a very charismatic kind of cultish group of Christianity, where he was like, "Oh man, you just traded one drug for another." Like it's been
totally. It happens. I mean, I know a lot of people where that happened to, and I used to be more of a fundamentalist Christian myself. Am no longer, but I don't laugh at it. But I've just known a lot of people where they ended up in that because of a type of lifestyle that was really over the top, into drugs, into things like that, and then they just swung the other way. And sometimes that's what they need to get out of it. So I'm not judgmental about it. I promise.
Well, let's see if it helps Cassius or not.
Yeah, let's see if it helps Cassius. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't.
Yeah,
Hell
I
yeah.
judge silently, so you guys won't really know.
Okay, perfect.
Whenever when he mutes his microphone, he's just judging, and he'll be right back.
Right.
I love it.
I know,
That's
guys,
great.
Yep. I just have my thoughts. Okay, so you guys wanted to trigger, then you would carouse?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Jessica, if you put in an extra 100, you can roll the dice with a +1, and if you don't, then I'm rolling it.
Sweet.
Mhm. What's the benefit of us both doing corral?
We would
You
both
get a bonus
roll
on your
with
roll.
no bonus. If we both throw in 100 on the same roll, we only
Mhm.
get one roll, but we get a +1 bonus to try and get 3 options.
And if you miss, things really get out of hand. It doesn't say what that means, but I get to decide what that means. And
Yeah.
if you both, things really, really, really get out of hand.
Then I'm just gonna pass, and maybe we'll do another corral later.
So I think we got back to town. We sold the goblin heads back to Clara, along with the all the gear that we found on that
The
chieftain's
booming
body.
market in goblin heads these days.
We talked up how badass Braxton was, and we just wanted to get cleaned up. So we Clara gave us each a free room for the night. And I think right before I left, I told Braxton, I need you to get all the townsfolk here tonight. We're gonna talk to them about goblins. And I'm trying to frame it as like let them know there's goblins in the woods. Like we're gonna get them ready for like here's what we have to do. But Tina's intention is really to talk about how badass we are. Like this one met the gods, like the elven pantheon, and I fought off all the goblins and killed them. And Braxton here's a hero, and so yeah, I'm gonna come back down all oiled up and yeah, good.
So you want me to go out to the town and tell people to come to the inn because there's goblins?
No, tell them there's free beer, and I'm gonna talk to them about goblins.
When do they start the free beer?
Tonight at
Great.
yeah, it's a one night
Oh,
only. You
I'll
can
be
drink
back.
for free.
I'll be back tonight then.
All right, Braxton. It was good almost dying with you. I've never met better goblin bait than you.
Yeah, and he's still pretty beat up. I mean, I think you guys did patch him up a little bit, but he still looks like he's been through hell. He wanders off, presumably to use his wily ways to gather people. You guys have your rooms, and I guess Tina Grundy is hanging with you because he's sort of strapped to you, isn't he?
I would let him have kind of free reign, but warn him like village full of superstitious folk, like they might try to kill you. Maybe you stay with us until we can get you home.
Yeah. I haven't been over on this side of the wall before, but I've heard about it. I think it's best if I keep a low profile. But if you guys need me to help you find my home, of course I'm gonna, right? So yeah, I'll just keep my eyes and my ears open and my mouth shut as much as I can, I guess, and wait for you guys to take me home.
Yeah, I think that's. I'm just picturing carrying him around like a dolly in the future.
Is this the little golem thing you guys had?
Yeah.
He stands like
Sweet.
6 inches tall, and he's a foul-mouthed little smartass. The reason the goblins were attacking in the last few sessions was he had kind of tricked them into being his escort to try and help him find his lost home, and he was just
Gotcha.
kind of taking a goblin train across the country. And so we end up killing the goblins. Now he thinks like we're gonna take him home, and we're telling him we're gonna take him home because we want to kind of keep him around until we figure out what we're doing next.
Yeah, he
Okay.
appears to have the ability to understand languages and to speak languages,
Nice.
Could be useful.
and seems confused why everybody else is so useless. So you guys send Braxton off. He's gathering up people. You have your free rooms. You've got the the tavern that you're in with Clara. It's it's midday at this point, so or I guess late in the day, but not evening yet. So it's not too busy yet. You sort of have time to yourselves if you want to go rest, if you want to, I don't know, try to go spend some of your money in the town, or we can just sort of fast forward to Braxton coming back and us getting to evening and you guys doing your carouse.
I would say go ahead and fast forward.
I do think there's a brief montage of me. I kind of take a pillow and I keep referencing it like I'm calling it Jenka, and I keep kind of throwing it into the corner and using my sword to try and like keep things away from the pillow. I'm just picturing all these swarms of bad guys, and I'm just figuring out how to like, and every once in a while like grab the pillow, like, no, you stay over there. And there's just a scene where, and it's me practicing like using my sword a little bit longer reach, and like, how can I
my God.
protect this little fool?
This is like the worst of 1980s
Yes.
therapy, where you've got like the therapist in the corner. Now tell the Jenka pillow how you feel. Tell Jenka how it makes you feel when she runs into danger.
Oh my God.
All right. So time passes. Cassius, you're coming back to the town of Eldenshire, where you've spent some time before. You tied one on many times in this town. Sort of have a reputation in a lot of the taverns. There's several that you're not allowed back at. But
whoops.
Right. But as you're walking into town, you see a kind of slightly stooped, larger, bearded man. Looks like he's been through an ass kicking, with a parade of sort of confused-looking people behind him. And he kind of glances over and sees you there, and he's like, "Hey, you want free beer?"
And I say, I take a tract. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, nice.
So he kind of shuffles towards you. He's got a double headed axe slung across his back. He's like, in the tavern we're all going to, there's free drinks tonight, and my friends are gonna bring goblins. So you should come too with all these folks. As he says, my friends are going to bring goblins. Some of the people who are in the line kind of look a little concerned on their face.
Yeah.
And others are like, no, there's no goblins. Goblins live in the mountains. There's no goblins here. But if you want to come, it'll be really, really fun.
Okay, so I'm like, oh yeah, man, I know how much fun this place could be. I might even be barred from that tavern that you guys are going to. I don't know, but I found new ways and a new life. And I hand you a tract that's like a scroll, and it says something like, this was your life, and it has this guy puking into an outhouse, and it's basically like about all the horrors of drunkenness and sloth, and it's about your new life in Thor.
So for Braxton's sake, would you say that this has more text or more pictures?
This has more pictures, more pictures, and this also has falsely represented Thor as someone who has put off mead, put off all of the drinking, and is sanctimoniously and decided to just kind of waltz around, and he builds things with his hammer. He doesn't tear things apart.
Beautiful.
He kind of strokes at his beard as he's looking. He's looking very thoughtful, very serious as he looks over this.
Yeah.
He rolls it up and doesn't seem sure whether he should hand it back to you or put it in his pack or what. He's just kind of like fumbling with it. He's like, so you want to go over there?
No.
He's kind of
No, I've put those ways behind me. But I obviously there's going to be a lot of people there, and I think I could share my message of hope and new life.
Okay. Let's go over there then.
Oh God. I don't know if I can play this character. This is going to be weird.
Tina's night of debauchery is turning into your proselytization session. This is beautiful.
He shuffles away, and people sort of confused but curiously follow him. And he kind of does like a serpentine wander up and down the street, banging on doors. He's basically a bulldozer. He's a bull in a china shop, and
Gotcha.
is friendly, but not so much taking no for an answer for most people. So the crowd builds to a crowd that is going to be tight in any tavern in this town. And you guys make your way back. I'm spacing, not remembering the name of the tavern. Actually, I know you have in your notes.
Widow's Rest.
Widow's Rest. That's right. Okay, so he makes it back to the Widow's Rest. Tina, at about the end of your therapy montage, and you see him wander in by himself at first. There's like a air of disappointment as you see him bruised with like sticks and leaves in his hair and in his beard. And as he shuffles forward, he takes up most of the door. As he shuffles forward, you can see just droves of people start coming in behind him.
I'm impressed
from side to side. And you notice a familiar face towards the back of the crowd. Familiar but different from what you remember. As you see Cassius walk in. And Jenka, you see this as well.
So I think, Morgan, the last time I saw Cassius was before you went off and had your epiphany.
Yes. The only thing the same is probably the mohawk.
I think my recollection, like I still think that you're probably a fun drinking, cussing, and fighting partner.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. What's that, Josh?
I didn't realize you're not fun anymore.
I'm definitely not fun anymore.
I've already started buying rounds for people around the bar that showed up a little early. And I think maybe a mug just got served to some farmer sitting near me. And I'm just going to reach up and grab the mug just as he reaches for it.
Oi.
And take it and walk up and just thrust it in a warm greeting. I don't think your pallor or sickliness is even registered on my face yet. I'm tanked already. And Cassius, oh, hey, old buddy, and kind of shove the drink at you and say, you came for the party. Oh, my God. We had such a blast. Chugging.
And I'm like, Tina, what are you doing here? I didn't know you were here. What's new?
These people were beset upon by goblins, but Tina and I flex. Tina was here, and my do you know Jenka the wizard I've been following around, little waggly finger elf. Yeah, we saved the town, and tonight we celebrate.
Oh, well, that kind of puts a damper on my sermon.
Yeah, you're not looking so good. Here, take a drink.
No. I have put off that way of life. I am now a servant of the Almighty, of Thor, and he no longer drinks mead, therefore I no longer drink mead.
Braxton's kind of behind at this point. He's like, they got other stuff besides mead here. There's beer and there's whiskey. It's two. They got.
And I say,
cheese.
Does anybody have any milk? I need a glass of milk and I need some cookies.
You're gonna want to talk to the bartender. Braxton, here, take this. I'll hand him the overflowing mug. And
he's got one in each hand now.
look down and try and focus on like the swimming vision of Cassius in front of me. Like, Cassius, my brother, you don't look too good. You go take a seat. And I'm gonna kind of wander. I don't care if you sit down or not. I'm gonna kind of wander off and just try and get people into the bar.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. Braxton did a pretty good job of ushering people in. You guess probably not because he's a real charismatic or verbose person, but more because he's big and scary and looks like a
covered in blood.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we established before he's half orc, so he's big and hairy and gross.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so yeah, in no time the place is filling up. Jenka, how are you attacking this scene that's in front of you?
I was probably in the corner, like eating a meal along with my drink, just kind of counting all the heads of all the people who were coming in and getting kind of surprised at how many people were coming. Maybe I'm starting to wonder exactly how much money are we spending, and are we overspending our amount?
Oh no.
100 gold buys a lot of beer.
Yeah. So I think I spot from the distance Tina talking to Cassius, and I really didn't have much of a relationship with them, but it seems to be kind of a friend of Tina just by the body language between the both of them. So I was actually headed over with an extra plate because Cassius looked kind of sickly and ill, and like he needed food. So I was gonna go and set a plate for them.
What'd you get a plate of?
It's probably just like some chicken legs.
That sounds good. And I'm like, hey, I think that Tina told me about you.
She did. Hopefully good things.
Yeah, like it sounds like you guys are celebrating tonight, like some big wins over some goblins.
Mm-hmm. They were terrorizing some of the caravans of merchants that were coming in, so we had to get rid of quite a few, and we got rid of the leader.
Praise be. That's wonderful. So tell me, how long have you been in these parts? I used to come and drink at this place. Oh my god, it looks about the same. It smells the same too.
We've just come to this tavern in passing. Not really familiar with this town whatsoever. But Tina seems to know her way around pretty well.
Well, be sure that I'm sorry. Be sure not to drink too much. Tina can really, man, when she gets going, it's just going.
All right. Well, you look like you needed a meal, so I just came to drop this off. I should go and look for Tina in a bit, so I'll see you.
See ya. So I end up just like devouring the entire plate, and while you've been talking to me just that little bit, the whole plate is gone. But this isn't gluttony here. This is like real honest to God. Like I look like I haven't eaten in a while, and I really legit haven't eaten in a while.
All right. Well, the tavern pretty quickly fills up, and there's not a seat in the house empty, and standing room is getting pretty thick. People are sort of milling around, muttering amongst themselves, clinking their free beers against each other, and just seem to be sort of wondering what's going on. This strange man harassed them until they came here, so they're at least going to get a free drink out of it.
Yeah, so I kind of stand up and make a pronouncement. Maybe ask Clara to set out some of the goblin heads. I start framing it that we've protected the town. Everybody can quit worrying. And maybe nobody even had any worries. Nobody even knew there was a problem. This is the first they're hearing of it. But yeah, that's kind of how I want to introduce myself and Jenka and Cassius, or not Cassius, Braxton, as the heroes that saved the town, and try and roll my. Can I use my Herculean appetites since I'm pursuing fame?
Yeah.
As part of this fame and glory.
Nice.
So what I get to do is I roll 1d6 and 1d8, and I'm spending 100 coin, so I don't get any bonuses on the roll. And if the 8 is higher than a 6, it causes some sort of complication. I'm sorry, if the 6 is the higher die. The first die is higher, it causes complication. Or otherwise, we interpret the move. 11.
So no,
Nice.
and so you pick 3 from the list, right?
Yep, I'm going to pick 3 from the list. I think I want to hear rumors of an opportunity.
Mhm.
I want to gain useful information,
Mhm.
and I'm going to turn this over to Jessica and Morgan. One option is we befriend a useful NPC, and the other one is we are not entangled, ensorcelled, or tricked. Which one do you guys think would be?
I think we've already gotten Braxton as an NPC, so maybe the not tangled and tricked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh,
So yeah,
that'd be
it's
good.
the
I
last
like
3
Braxton.
bullets. Yeah, we're going to try and keep him around.
All right. So you are not entangled, ensorcelled, or tricked. You gain useful information and rumors of an opportunity. Okay. Let's just take them in turn, and they'll be sort of related, I suppose.
Mhm.
So, useful information. As you sort of regale the people with the story of your exploits and how amazing you were, how tough you were, Cassius, you sense that there's a core of truth in the stories. They're definitely embellished.
Mm-hmm.
There are untruths weaved in to sort of make things sound even grander than they were.
Mm-hmm.
But the core of this is the truth. And the people of the town are enthralled. They're impressed. You see actually the look of some people who feel like maybe their eyes are on salvation. That there's
It's the drunk Tina.
There's something here more than just feeling safe from this past danger. There's something else under the surface going on that these people see an opportunity here, and they're kind of murmuring and talking amongst themselves, and after 15-20 minutes of this story, and people are settling down, people are cheering and toasting, a older woman walks up to Tina with another goblet to kind of push towards you and hand to you. You're just the type of person we need in this town. You're just the type of people to help things go back to the way they always were before.
And I take it, and I look like Trump when he's in front of a crowd that's cheering for him. I'm just hearing exactly what I want to hear. We're
The chin way up and out.
We're gonna drain that forest to goblins.
The forest isn't the problem. The forest has never been the problem. We've never had goblin problems in the forest. It's north. It's the problem. We've had people go missing, and our young people, our young men and women who would protect the city have traveled north and not come back. And we would be very grateful to anybody who could see what's happening and give us peace. Let us know where our children are. And she's not, just to be clear, she's not talking about children, but like the young adults of the town
Yeah.
have been traveling north, and many not coming home.
So would Jenka or Cassius be the person who maybe overhears this and steps in while I'm missing the fact that there's something serious going on here? Who would be the one that kind of picks it up and wants to?
I think I'm still finding things to eat, probably on the floor. So I think maybe Janka may have overheard something.
You're just like talking to the cheese tray.
Yes.
All right. I'll probably ask how many men and women have gone missing in the last year, or since when has this started?
This started about 3.5, 4 weeks ago. We had a young couple travel north to go and see the next town over, and they never came home, and so we sent a few after them and a few after them, and there's 18 people gone now.
Oh my God, that's a lot. I'm sorry, out of character. I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, yeah.
Are there any of those ruins to the north?
There are.
So that's stuff Jenka wants to learn about, right? And that I want to actively avoid.
So you have to be drunk to agree to this. That's the thing.
Nice.
So how far is the next town over in the north?
Oh, it shouldn't be more than about a day's journey. They should have been back really quickly. They just never came. None of them ever came.
All right. Do you have any person of connection that we might be able to talk to in the next town over? Someone that might have seen them?
Well, there's Francis, and Francis is a merchant from up there who came down here to sell around the same time your carts came in, and he's not going back because he's afraid of what's going on up there. There's been some weird things happening up there, and he won't go. So he might be able to help you.
Is Francis here in the tavern tonight?
She points kind of a spindly finger over to the side, and you see a guy sitting by himself, just draining beer after beer, drowning his sorrows, quite literally.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and head over to Tina and let her know that I've just been informed of a new adventure that we might be able to go on, and that Francis might have the key or more information for us of how to get there and what needs to be done.
My eyes glitter as I kind of look around swimming through booze. Look around the room that's all like adoring us, and like, oh, there's more opportunity for more of this to come. And I looked at Francis, and he looks like he's gonna rain on my parade a little bit. And my eyes maybe get over to Cassius, who's not, she's just eating all the food and not really talking about how great I am. So I'll kind of wave down Cassius or go over there and approach, maybe get a big old leg of like a dove or something, pheasant off the fire, and bring it over and set a big old greasy hunk of meat down on the little tin plate in front of you. And say, friend, you look like you could eat a dozen of these things.
Yeah, I really want some of those stuffed mushrooms, though. But not the psychedelic kind. I'm off those.
Oh man,
I'm not taking those anymore.
I'm starting to put my pouch back. Okay, I won't put any in your food.
And I'm gonna be like, hey, you guys got really serious all of a sudden over there. What's going on?
Yeah, apparently there's some people in trouble. And you know what they say, where there's trouble, there's an opportunity to be a hero. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So-
Glory and honor, my man. Glory and honor.
Glory, indeed. We're gonna go talk to Francis over here. He's kind of harshing my buzz, and I love you, brother, but you're kind of harshing my buzz. Maybe you could come cheer him up and get him to tell us what we need to do.
You know, he's drinking a lot tonight. I'm gonna talk to him about why, he needs to just quit that mess. So I mean,
whoa,
besides
whoa,
you,
don't get hasty. Don't get hasty.
You're not looking so good yourself, man. But yeah, I'm gonna go. Let's go. Let's go talk to him. I'm not playing this sanctimonious guy very well. Oh God, I'm gonna have to think about it more.
We'll find opportunities.
It'll come.
Okay.
Um,
Oh God.
So far, you're playing a really hungry guy, though. So that's
I am. I think it's because I'm actually really hungry.
very good.
all right. So it seems like Francis is kind of harshing everybody's buzz because people are giving him a little bit of a berth, and he's, like I said, at a table along the wall with, at this point already 2 empty tankards in front of him and working on a third.
I'm just going to sit down kind of as Cassius is coming with me, and I don't know if Jenk is in the area to be able to jump into the scene.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit down in front of him and maybe a little too gregarious and like noisy at first, like kind of slam my hands on the table and like, oh, I'm sorry. They're loud over there. Francis, we came here with a caravan and we got attacked by goblins. Did you hear about it?
Yeah, I think everybody in this bar heard about it.
We protected the caravan. We met up with Braxton, man. Braxton is pretty mean with that axe over there. We walked back out into those woods and we stopped the goblins. We stopped the goblins and we saved the town. And we understand that you're looking for a hero too. We're heroes, and I'm reaching, pull out. Shit, I'm trying to think what would be the equivalent, like a business card that I would have. It's just an old beaten piece of like hammered leather that I've written my name on. It just says Tina. It's probably even misspelled. But I slide that across and I just kind of put it in front of him and say, "We can help you with your problems. Tell us what's going on, Francis."
I don't know that it's anything that you or your friends would understand or could help me with. But thank you for this, I guess. And he kind of tosses it down next to the empty tankards.
I only have one of them, so I'm going to surreptitiously kind of try and take it back.
He looks at Tina, then glances up to you, Jenka. You have any idea what it's like not to be able to go home?
How long has it been since you've been home?
Well, the trips between here and home have gotten harder and harder over about the past 2-3 months. Just weird stuff happening. Things just showing up that I can't explain, that don't belong. I haven't seen before. And yeah, it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. They can't be home anymore.
So what exactly is preventing you from going home?
So what should be home is gone. People are gone. My family just was gone. And new things are there that shouldn't be there. Creatures that don't belong. Things that I've never seen around where I live. I've heard stories of monsters and creatures, and we're used to what roams around in the woods, but this is different. Something's happening. Things are showing up that aren't from my neck of the woods, if you know what I mean.
Sounds like your people have fallen from God.
I don't know much about that. It could be, I guess. Maybe we deserve this. But I found my God right here.
Amen.
Holds up a beer, then takes a long drink. I just have to. I mean, my family's gone. I got to figure it out here. But I wouldn't go up there if I were you.
What's the weirdest thing? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I think we're on the same page. You said your people are gone and the people that are there are wrong. Have you talked to the people that are there?
It's not people that are there. It's things. It's. I saw large, green, hulking, two-legged things with weapons of war. I saw a man in all black with one golden hand. It's different all the time. It's different every day. You'll see something new that you haven't seen. And I didn't see my family get taken. They were just gone.
I'm turning quietly to Jenka. I kind of want to see these things. This sounds cool. Might get to fight. Might get to help somebody, but regardless, we could find some cool stuff.
So to be clear, the results of your carouse roll, the opportunity is that people are missing and the town wants you to go find out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
The useful information that you're getting from this guy is that strange creatures seem to be randomly showing up and appearing around where he's from, and the people of the town seem to just be vanishing.
And it's kind of inconsistent. It seems like if you go back to the same place, you find something different each time.
Mm-hmm. It's very chaotic.
Yeah. Tina, I think, has the next adventure already in her mind. She's just gone from rich back down to only 40 coin because she blew it all on beer just to feel good about herself. And I think she kind of looks around and says, you said this guy had a golden hand. Was there a lot of gold in some of these places you've seen?
Well, it's near the ruins, and there's all sorts of crazy stuff in the ruins. I mean, I saw this guy from far away. He was a man. He had a sword. He was in dark armor. Had yellowish hair. I mean, he had like this much gold. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm going to put another beer in front of him. We'll get to the bottom of this.
I would love it if I could go home. Not that there's anything there for me anymore, but you know, maybe we can rebuild something. And he kind of nods to you. And so good.
Oh, Cassius is kind of wondering now. You know, he's kind of wondering if there's been damage to the actual buildings. Like, have buildings fallen down? Has there been any damage, or is it mostly just people going missing?
There was some damage to the ruins when I went by last. You know, those big green things. I mean, it looked like a man, but huge. You know,
okay,
1.5 times as big as me, and just muscle on top of muscle. You know, those things tromped all over the ruins and broke things down, and you know, caused some damage. The beasts they were riding defiled everything. But nothing ever really came into the town. It's just nearby. It's a, you know, couple miles away.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Cassius is going to pledge that he will
I was told
bring
that you were
salvation to you guys. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I was told that you were a merchant of that town. Where exactly was your business located?
Oh, I'm a tanner. I mean, I make leather. And so we would go out into the woods and hunt, and when we would, you know, I had a little shop that we would, tan and treat leather in, and then I would travel here to sell it. My town's small. So,
Okay.
I mean, I can tell you where my house is if you want to. When you get to town, go check it out. I don't know if there might be some wine in the cellar still. There might be some preserves down there that you could use. Some dried meats. Anything that's there, you're welcome to.
Okay. I'm thinking that probably might be a good place to kind of have in the back of our minds for the just in case we get in there and need some cover.
Mhm.
If he's offering his residence, then we should take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead, sorry.
Tina's not thinking about like negotiating a price from him. I want to take that guy's gold hand and
Yeah.
And maybe mount some of these big giant skulls on a wagon. I kind of like the idea of battle wagons now.
Oh yeah.
So
You're
So,
inspired by the goblins.
yeah. So I'm totally. I think you guys can already see Tina's eyes glaze over. She's daydreaming like the triumphant return, and so I think I'm good.
Cassius is focused on gaining more followers to his cause, and so he's thinking if he can show that through the strength of his deity that he can rid these people of evil around them, then his job is done. He's not exactly out to make money. He's looking to gain followers.
And I'm just going for the ruins.
Yeah, then I think kind of we all have agreed as players, and Tina nods to him. Says, "Yep, tomorrow morning, I'm gonna head north. Friends, are you with me?"
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna look to Jenka, and I still don't see any scars from the horrible wounds the day before. Like when she came back from in Dungeon World, when you die, you have a roll that gives you a chance just coming back.
Yeah.
And so she came back with no wounds. She like fully healed, and it kind of spooked me out.
Even appeared to
God.
be clean, like bathed.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And now I'm kind of wondering if maybe she's just immortal. I've been very protective of her, but maybe that just when elves die, they just do that. I don't know. I'm still learning this shit. So I
That's
kind of look
awesome,
at you
though.
and I look to you, Jenka, and say, "Do you think you think Braxton would want to go?"
I think it would be a good idea to bring Braxton if he's not completely drunk and hungover by tomorrow.
He's finished the 2 beers you gave him, and he's got 2 fresh ones in his hands.
I think maybe a good end of the scene for Tina would be to approach him, like kind of thrust 2 more into his hands, try and like get him to chug those and hand him 2 more and say, "I've got a job offer for you." See if I can hire him. I think at some point we should try and create him as an NPC, as a hireling, just so we can figure out what push and pull there is, and it might be interesting to give him some personality things. I don't know what we rolled for instincts and knacks, but it sounds like Cassius might have interest in like saving his soul while I'm trying to make him a reckless hero.
Am I supposed to tell you guys what his knacks and instincts were?
No. But when we get to making him as a hireling, we'd want to figure out what his costs are, like whether he's doing it for money or if he's doing it for glory or if he's doing it because he just hasn't been told he doesn't have to.
Well, and did you end up taking that move when you leveled up?
No, if we want to keep hirelings around, I will. But for now,
Okay.
that doesn't.
I was trying to remember what your second move was.
It's smash. When I roll a 12
That's right.
plus on a hack and slash, I can take something.
Yep.
So yeah, we'd want to figure out kind of what it takes to keep him around, and then also whether he adds to damage when we attack, or what his different abilities are.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I'd like to try and offer him, and I'll offer him a fair share of any treasure we loot, and his name in the stories.
Okay.
I'll write a
seems
poem
game.
about him.
He definitely seems like he's a softie for poetry.
Hell yeah.
Totes.
All right, so we end the scene there. Next morning, everyone wakes up, gets together. Some a bit more bleary-eyed than others, but everybody ready for travel. And from what you learned last night, the town you're headed to is, not a long journey. It's what I think, didn't we say a day's journey north?
Mm-hmm.
The townspeople are willing to provide you with horses. They're motivated to get to the bottom of what's happening. So they're willing to outfit you and wish you well at this point.
Jessica, did you want to see if you could buy like another potion or anything, or are you good with what you've got?
Let me see.
You got that money burning a hole in your pocket.
I think I need probably 2 more healing potions.
In the book, Josh, on page 326, you'll see prices, and then you decide if they're available in the town. If there's like an herbalist or somebody that makes healing potions.
Let me open the book.
And the book price is 50 coin for 1 potion. I would buy some poultices and herbs myself also.
Okay.
If they're available.
They are. Well, I mean, you're not a giant city. But it's big enough that there are potions and, I mean, you can get poultices and herbs even in the smallest of towns. So you're able to get both. And the standard book price is fine. I'm just trying to actually find my book in my mess of a computer here. Come on, PDF.
I might be able to answer the questions you have, but basically, healing potion, you drink it, it heals 10 damage or removes one ability. Poultice and herbs, you have to carefully treat someone's wounds. They're slow to use, so you can't just drink it like a potion.
Right.
And it heals 7 damage and expends 1 use. And for 10 coin, I get 2 uses.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to find them.
Okay.
And I had a quick question. If there was a temple in the town or anything that I could go visit, like a holy site or anything to kind of get myself ready mentally before I venture out.
Well, how you said that you're a disciple of Thor. How?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking of that now because of the whole drinking thing. I couldn't think of anyone else to pick.
I think a splinter group of Thor is pretty cool. Like, it's sober Thor. It's you guys are Catholic, we're sober Thorians. It's cool.
I guess. Seems a little anti everything that Thor stands for, but I thought that basically this guy could have joined a cult of Thor that doesn't actually kind of follow what typical Thorians do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe something like that. But yeah, is there any kind of temple or anything?
Well, I guess it depends how common a deity is Thor. I mean, is this like it's sort of up to you and us. Like, how is this a really commonly worshipped deity? Is it more of a, even if you're in a fringy group, if it's a mainstream deity, you could find a temple to Thor somewhere. Or if it's one that maybe is a little bit less common. It might be a little tougher in a smaller town.
Did
Yeah.
you get converted here in the city, or did you get converted somewhere else?
No, I got converted somewhere else in a much bigger city than this. And I'm
Maybe
gonna say that. Oh, go ahead.
maybe it'd be interesting if this is a bigger town that a lot of small farming villages all kind of come to trade.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so each small farming village probably has its own little agrarian deities, over their local area.
Yeah.
And here, maybe because they're used to accommodating so many different beliefs, there's like a non-denominational temple at least,
Yeah.
and maybe
Mhm.
other things,
That'd
but
be
a
cool.
nice solemn place that you can be.
Sure.
Yeah. That sounds very doable. So I'm gonna go to that non-denominational place, and I've got my little Thor's hammer, and I've got a couple other little potions and herbs and things like that. And I pre-dyed my mohawk, and instead of blue, now I've dyed it pink, especially for battle. So I'm
Nice.
excited. I'm excited.
And I fully expect over time to see like a small corner dedicated to Thor, like trying to expand and take over everything else. Like, this non-denominational shrine will quickly become a Thor. I love the little chick tracks that you're handing out. I want to see the one that's like no
Yep.
role-playing games.
Yep, totally. Totally. It's funny that you know what those are. That's great. Not everybody does.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
All right. So you all prepare in your various ways. I assume you've added the equipment that you purchased on your inventories and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And hit the road, I suppose.
I
Yeah.
probably just in passing notice, like, I haven't seen Jenka playing with that particular gadget before, and I just have a sinking feeling in my gut. I don't know that it's Fireball yet, but I just have a sinking feeling in my gut, like, oh, she has a new toy. This is going to be trouble.
I'm curious to know what your Fireball gadget even looks like, but you can describe it now, or we can wait until it comes out in battle at some point.
Hold on. I actually uploaded the pictures because I thought that'd be kind of cool to do.
Oh, fun.
So it's basically like a bracelet, and it has the eye of like a dragon in red. So that's what it's gonna look like. Oh, you know what? I'm not in GM mode anymore. Hold on.
Oh, you'll need to put them in all players' journals also, so that we can all see them.
Yeah. Let me do that.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I can't see it. I don't know where it is.
Okay. Can you see all of them?
I can. They're in roll d20.
Okay.
I'm in roll d20. Is it under your Jenka character?
It's above that.
I'm gonna rejoin as GM. I'll put them public here in a second.
Oh, do I just click show to all players on them?
Yeah, that should pop it up on our screens. Nice. Yeah, there it is. I'm going to click edit, and in player journals, it says Jessica C. I'm going to put it in all players,
Okay.
Oh, I see.
and then can be edited by Jessica C.
Got it.
For some reason, mine doesn't have like character journals. That sucks. Okay, Fireball. Is that it? Ah, nice. That's really cool.
So yeah, I see her kind of fingering this little. You said like a little amulet or brooch or something?
It's a bracelet.
Bracelet, and I'm just looking at that like that looks scary. Fuck. And yeah, I think we just drive north. I've got my horse. I've got everything loaded up in its saddlebags, and I probably walk it most of the way. I'm more of a friend with my horse than making it a mount.
That's funny. I'm definitely on my horse because my legs are really spindly and I'm still kind of weak. I did my daily prayer for healing like I usually do, and I've decided that it's a placebo effect. And I felt a little better at first, but now it's kind of waning. And I have this potion that I've mixed up for myself that's not really, it doesn't do anything. It's basically like a green tea in a bottle. And I think that's doing something, but it's really not. And I'm always touting this new drink of some sort or another that isn't alcoholic, of course, but I always have something that I'm drinking that I'm trying to push off on other people. I'm like, hey, dudes, no, literally, it tastes really good. And it really just always tastes horrible.
You're the one friend who makes their own kombucha.
Yes. Kombucha juice. Yes. And he falls for like every fad that there is. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
All right. So you head out on the road, and it's a well-worn path between the two villages. Again, this is the sort of city-state that this is a interconnected farming community. So there's like cart paths and horse tread paths between the more immediately in the more immediate vicinity, the closer towns. So it's not hard traveling to get to this place. As you head north, the terrain gets a little less wooded, a little bit more plains and rocky. I mean, think, not as extreme as the Dakotas, but like maybe a more kind of tame version of that, where you get, sort of grass-covered rocks and boulders starting to poke up out of the ground. And you don't encounter much between Eldenshire and then the next town that you're headed to. It's a pretty quiet day's journey. Not eerily so, like it was in the woods where you just heard silence. But just a peaceful journey, sort of the calm before the storm, maybe. I think I might hear Odie fussing. Do you guys mind taking like a 5-ish or 10-ish minute break before we continue?
10 minutes. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Okay. I know we're close to calling it for the night, anyways. But
I'd like to push on a little bit later tonight if we can, just to kind of get somewhere with this. I enjoy what we're doing.
I'm always good to go as late as you guys want, but I know you guys have school in the morning, so yeah, give me until like 10:40.
Sounds
good.
Cool. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, if you want to put it in a little thing, or I can. I was thinking about maybe pulling one of the other ones apart and putting it in two. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. I hear him. How's he doing?
He's eating in his sleep.
Sleep eating. Lucky. I wish I could do that. Mm-hmm.
His eyes are actually open a little bit, but he's pretty sleepy. I'm just about done.
My sister's going to bring my niece down in May.
Oh,
She'll
yeah.
be about a year and a half at that point.
Really?
Get to see her again.
Your sister's in Maryland, is that right?
No, she was in Virginia, but they just moved to Orlando, or just outside of Orlando.
I know, man. I know. Oh,
Little dude.
I know you want to burp. He probably doesn't want to burp, really. He's farting on me. How old are your brother's kids? Doesn't he have a couple of kids?
He's got two daughters. They are, I think, 11 and 10.
That's so weird.
10 and 9 or 11 and 10. Yeah.
It's so weird to think of your brother with kids that old.
Yeah, they're good kids, though. He's a good dad.
Yeah. Is he still in Fort Wayne?
Oh, I see a baby.
Yeah.
It's not a baby.
Oh, he's beautiful.
He's got a midget roommate.
Midget roommate. Oh my god.
It's kind of the same thing.
I guess it kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah. He's much more reasonable than my other midget roommate.
How is she adopting the sisterhood?
She's doing great. She's just, she's 2, so she has all the fun of a 2-year-old. She doesn't just say no when she doesn't want to do something. She says, "No, I'm not." Hey, Charlie, do you want to help put your toys away? No, I'm not. Oh, okay. All right, man.
Wow.
She's also embraced the joys of potty humor. So she likes to tell me whenever Odie toots. And then once that happens, everybody tooted. She's like, Mommy tooted. Daddy tooted. Dinosaurs
That's so
tooted.
cute.
Like, all right, man.
But does she toot?
What's that?
But does she toot?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she'll call herself out all the time. I tooted. And whenever it happens, she'll make like a big deal about it, like it smells really bad or something, and she'll wave her hand like this. She'll be like, "Oh."
That's funny.
She's
That's
like
awesome.
beautiful, blonde, curly-haired, blue-eyed angel of a girl that loves cars and dinosaurs and trucks and fart humor.
That's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. And my little
don't
boy
mind
just
me.
smiles
Oh,
all
go
the
ahead.
time. No, I was just saying, look, this guy just smiles and giggles all the time.
So sweet.
So he'll hang out with us for a while.
Very good.
That'd be perfect.
And maybe fall back asleep. We'll see.
And the good thing is he can't hear us, so my language won't influence his upbringing at all. So
No. He's not to the repeating stage yet. Charlie is. She says, "Damn it," sometimes, and I'm like, "Oh, that's from me." Okay. Are we ready to dive back in, I guess?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, my brother made hot and sour soup, and so I'm having a bowl of that because I really was legit hungry. So I'm gonna go ahead, and so you'll hear me munching sometimes. So I'm sorry about that, but
Oh, that's fine.
That's all right. Okay. So yeah, you're traveling kind of through the rocky terrain. Did you guys want to do any of the what's the move? The
Undertake a perilous journey might be something you'd want us to do. It just has a possibility of generating some drama, unless you just want to get us to the scene.
I would like to do that sensing evil thing
Sure.
that humans have. Yeah. Okay. So, what here is evil? Yeah.
Do you just kind of do it while you're on the road?
Yes. Kind of as a prayer, like like Thor, please show me what here is evil.
Is there a range on that, or do we just sort of wing it amongst ourselves on how
I have
far that
no
is?
idea. I'm good with whatever you decide.
You would generally kind of wing it, like something constrained within the scene, but you can
Okay.
interpret what here is evil. It could be like the most evil thing is Tina's avarice, right? You just get a
Mhm.
sense she's not really a bad person, but she's
Mhm.
pretty petty and fame seeking if she gets away with it. It could be your own intention of doing a thing that you pick up on.
Okay.
Josh is free to interpret within a scene, and it's also a very valid answer. There's nothing here that strikes you as evil, but
Okay.
it's not quite like detect evil in D&D where you just keep it up all the time.
Okay.
Pretty much whenever you find yourself in a situation like, I don't know if I trust this person, what's evil here, then Josh would tell you.
That's what I will use it for. I will not use it then.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
But you do get a sense that I'm petty and often not really greedy for mundane things. I want big treasures. I'm penny foolish. I'll spend my coins too quickly. I want that big treasure that we find.
And you also want the fame and the glory, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you make your way along the road. You see, after say 7-8 hours of travel, you see in the distance sort of the silhouette of the town. I won't call it a skyline because it's nothing that grand. This is a farming village, but you're starting to see that you're entering lands that are tended to, or at least were tended to. They seem to be in a little bit disrepair. Things are overgrown. There are fences that need mending, and cows wandered out into the wrong field. It's a village in disarray that you're approaching. And then as far as the ruins are, a mile or so north further beyond the town. So I don't know if, did you just want to kind of walk towards the town? Did you want to, I don't know. I don't want to plant any ideas.
So I think as we get to this point, I see like an old fence post, and I'm betting Braxton that I could hit it with a rock, as I'm just being dumb on the trail. And as we recognize that we're getting close to the town, stop and look back to Brother Cassius and Jenka and say wander in there and kick the hornet's nest, unless you guys want to be sneaky about it.
I'm probably going to go, we should be sneaky about this, but then end up kicking the hornet's nest.
So if there's no other preferences, our disguises were a troupe of actors. We're here to put on a play. I'm the star of the show. And I come up with kind of a convoluted cover story. Yeah. Big convoluted cover story for what we're going to tell the people.
Okay.
Overly complicated. And Tina won't remember any of it by the time we actually might talk to somebody. But yeah, just kind of lead our horses into town then.
Okay. It's not dark yet, but we're late in the afternoon. People should be starting to kind of close up shop if they're, for what few shops might be here as you come into town. But things are quiet. I mean, you see a few people kind of quietly wandering from place to place, taking care of their business. But, the town is notably low on population. It's not a ghost town, but if there were tumbleweeds in this area, there might be one rolling past. There, a couple of people are starting to light candles or lanterns in the windows. It's starting to get towards dusk. People are sort of making their preparations for the evening, and it's there's a tension. It's quiet. People are, this isn't your typical small town where people are stopping and saying hello to each other on the street and making conversation. They're walking with purpose wherever they go.
Is there any reaction to us as strangers coming into town, or are they just kind of ignoring us?
Ignoring you.
First person that's kind of going about their business, I'll just kind of point like, you, pointy head, come here.
That middle-aged man, kind of wispy hair on the top, kind of stops and looks at you guys and starts to walk towards you. Well, yeah. What can I do for you?
Jenka, what was the name of that town we were looking for? And did we get a name from from Francis?
Nope. What is the name?
I have no idea.
I have a sheet of just random names. Do you want me to just pull one off of that?
Sure, let's pull a human name. Let's say that it's Haymore.
Haymore. Alrighty. And is that that's the name of the town we were looking for, right?
Yep.
Then I'll look to. Was it an older man you said?
Middle-aged guy.
Middle-aged guy. Friend, we're looking for Haymore. We've got urgent business. Can you point us the way?
You found it. I don't know what you're looking for here. Nothing but trouble, but you found it.
You know, we were looking for trouble in Amor, so it sounds fortuitous. Francis sent us here.
Oh, Francis.
We saw
Where'd you
him
see
down.
Francis?
He's worried. He's down in Eldenshire. He said there was no coming home. He said his people disappeared, his family. And I walk around. It looks pretty spooky here. You guys, what's going on?
It's hard to say. I don't know. People are leaving. People are coming up missing. Those of us who are still here just don't have anywhere else to go. This is home. So, yeah, you just wake up one day and somebody's not in the bed where you left them.
Jeez.
Do you hear anybody crying in the middle of the night
No.
when they go missing? No.
No.
This is your home.
Had some weird things happening over by the ruins, but
Francis spoke
I
of.
guess if you see something, then it's already too late.
Okay, yes. Francis spoke of tall green creatures. They were very, very big. Have you seen anything like that? Or a man with a gold gauntlet?
Yeah, we want that guy.
No, I don't go out by the ruins. I've heard weird noises coming from there, and I've heard people talk about that stuff, but I didn't go over there.
Do you know anyone who has and have come back?
No, I've seen some big birds over there lately, making terrible racket.
What's your name, friend?
My name's Thomas.
Thomas, let me tell you, when problems beset a town, the townsfolk need to come together. But just like when you're baking something, you need some flour. You need something for the ingredients to stick to and really rise into something powerful and strong. And I'm Tina. This is Jenka. And this is Cassius. And back at the back, there's Braxton. We're going to be the flour that makes this town a great cake. And I go into this weird metaphor where I clearly don't understand baking. And I'm just like letting them know, like, we're here to bring the town together and to stand up against that. What takes your people? We're gonna find who we can. We're gonna set things right. And I'm just kind of going on and on until his eyes glaze over or somebody interrupts me.
I totally. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna nudge Tina in the ribs and look at her and go, "Weren't we supposed to be actors?"
And I
shit.
I totally steal the thunder, and I'm like, and we're also here to show you the glory of Thor, and he will save you. We are his people and his instruments of glory, and this is the path that he has chosen for you for some reason, and we're here to show you why.
And I clearly just am so still, like, I guess I'm just trying to smile and keep that grin on my face and ignore that. Like, Tina has not figured out the angle, and I think you're trying to con me. I've seen some charlatans, like, yeah, okay, maybe that's going on here. So yeah, I'm just like, yeah, that's also what we're doing, but focus on this other part. Curious to see where that's going to get interesting.
So Thomas, where are the ruins?
The road you're on, the path you're on, goes right through the middle of town. Just keep going north, another mile and a half, and you're there. It's right. The road was built to go there. I mean, it's right off the road. I don't know. It's getting dark soon. We're gonna go there in the dark.
Francis said we could borrow his roof while we were in town here. Do you happen to know where he lived? Where his home is?
Yeah, I can show you his house. Yeah.
I got dibs on the top bunk.
I'm just amused that Thomas is okay with just like letting random strangers reside at Francis's home.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's okay.
think
We have
you would-
ID. I'm gonna flash my leather that says Tina on it.
Nice.
You hear a small but audible sigh from a strap on Tina's kind of shoulder, chest, clavicle area.
I'll kind of
Just
look down and see if there's anything.
exasperated.
You just kind of see me turn away and like arguing with the strap. Does Grundy have anything he wants to add to the scene?
No, just his exasperation.
As we're buffooning through this. And there might be a portal back to your home in these ruins. We have to check every lead.
All right. So Thomas offers to show you to Francis's house. And the more you walk through this village, this is probably a village of, 400 or 500 people, if the houses are full. And you would guess at this point, I don't know, you'd estimate maybe you've got 30% of that in the town. Just a massive amount of people who have been disappeared somehow, with very little word reaching anywhere that you've been.
Thomas, you can't bake a cake without sprinkles. And in this cake, those sprinkles are hope. We need you to talk to your neighbors and tell them that we are here to help. We might ask them to do some strange things, but they need to be ready to pitch in and help us save their town for them. Can you talk to your neighbors for us?
What do you want me to tell people to do?
Right now, just keep your heads down. But we're gonna figure out what that gold-handed guy. I'm gonna cut his hand off. I'm not sure my friends here wanna talk to you about this Thor guy. We're gonna get a little weird on you, but it's a grand strategy. You will have Haymore back the way you once had it.
All right, I'll talk to the village and let them know that you guys are here. And then you're going to head out to the ruins in the morning?
Yeah, but we're going to stay the night at Francis's house. I'm a real deep sleeper, so please tell him not to come poking around. And I look real smart as I think about that. And I turn to the Cassius and Jenk and say, maybe they'll try and sneak up on us. There at the village, at the farmhouse. But yeah, tell them we're going to spend the night there, and then we'll head out first thing in the morning to the ruins and put an end to this.
All right. So he shows you to Francis's home. It's a humble little cottage, kind of towards the center of town, with his tannery kind of attached and behind it. The tannery normally is going to smell awful, but this one has not been in use for a number of weeks, and things have kind of settled down, I guess.
Yeah.
And the house looks as though it was left almost as though somebody was living in it the day before and had all their things out and for their daily routine, and then just never came back.
Breakfast is still set and rotting on the table type things.
Not rotting food, because he left for his trip, but
oh yeah, I get you.
It doesn't look like somebody took time to pack things up as though they were leaving and never coming home.
And he had family here too, right?
Mm-hmm. In the house, you notice that there's a bedroom that, like a master bedroom, and then there's another bedroom for a child.
And at this moment, Cassius actually has some humanity come over him, and he just breaks down and he sobs as he's like looking at the bed that should be holding like a child, or he feels feelings of sadness, and it gets more real to him. And in that moment, he is more worried about finding what's going on than he is trying to convert people. He thinks that it's going to be through his deity that he finds that he gets to the bottom of this, but in this particular moment, he's not as much of a sanctimonious ass.
Yeah, that might be an opportunity depending on what is going on in the scene. In Dungeon World, there's moves like discern realities,
Okay.
where as you're really paying attention to the town as we're kind of walking through it, if you wanted to trigger the move, it could even be talking to Thomas. It could be as we walk through the town, you observe the other people. You're really paying attention, and you would roll plus wisdom. And depending on the roll, and if Josh agrees that you triggered the move, you'd be able to actually ask some questions from the list on the Discern Realities move. Do you have that move available?
Let me look.
In Roll20, there's a thing that says player sheet under handouts, and then player sheets, there's basic moves.
Yep.
If you click on that, you'll see
I'm clicking on that, and it's just loading up. And what is it called again? Discern reality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And what you can also do is on your character sheet, you should have a button for Discern Realities under the moves. You can just click on that too to roll the die if you and Josh agree you've triggered it.
I'm trying to scroll up on it. It's kind of getting fuzzy. Like it's not really.
Oh, it can be a
to sharpen
tough thing
up.
to load.
You know, if you have your if you have your dice and you just want to roll 2d6 also and let us know what it is.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
I'm gonna roll it, Josh, because I think it'll give us the text.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not actually triggering it. I'm just gonna give her the text in the Roll20 window. Yeah.
Got it.
So if you look under details where I rolled,
I'm looking. Okay, I gotta get back. For some reason on my phone, it's not letting me close out of the smaller windows. I don't know why. Okay, come on.
And then Jessica, you might be in a position to help her if, depending on what gets rolled, if it's a.
I was actually thinking.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was actually thinking of maybe doing a detect magic or setting up an alarm in the area if we were gonna bunk for the night.
Nice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my plan is to spread news we're here and then see what bad guys come out in the middle of the night. I was gonna just have Braxton watch, but an alarm spell is much better than that.
That's if it goes well when I cast it.
Okay, so for some reason I'm not seeing the little chat box that was here before, and I'm Roll20 is looking completely different than it was just last since I looked into it. So I'm gonna open it again.
Do you have two six-sided die next to you?
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll them, and I'm gonna reload as a GM and look at your character sheet. I think you had a +1.
Okay,
wisdom.
so I rolled a
+1.
3. Whoa. 3 and then a 3, so a 6, total of 6.
+1 is 7.
And so you're in Dungeon World, you roll 2d6, and then you add or subtract a modifier. So for you, it's a +1. The 2d6 +1, and then depending on what you roll, you'll get some effect. A 1 to 6 is usually really bad. 7 to 9 is usually moderate, or you might gain something, but at a cost. And then 10+ is where you just are badass. You rolled a 7, and so you get to ask one question off of a list. And Josh, do you want to read the list to her?
Mm-hmm. The list is what happened here recently, what is about to happen, what should I be on the lookout for, what here is useful or valuable to me, who's really in control here, and what here is not what it appears to be.
Shit, those are a lot of good questions.
Well, just roll higher next time.
You ask 3.
Oh.
Yeah, if you roll a 10+, you ask 3 questions. And then the trick to Dungeon World is Josh will answer your question honestly. Like that's the GM rule.
All right. So ask question. Go to me again.
They are what happened here recently, what is about to happen, what should I be on the lookout for, what here is useful or valuable to me, who's really in control here, or what here is not what it appears to be.
Let's go with that one. What here is not what it appears to be.
So what here is not what it appears to be. I would say, but here's not what it appears to be. So the village in general has this look of a quiet farming town, peaceful, safe, quiet, but there's this like kind of like a tension or an energy in the air that you can't put your finger on exactly what it is. But this place looks like it should be orderly and clean and safe and peaceful. And there's just this sense of chaos all around you. There's this feeling of almost electricity in the air that whatever connection there is between the village and the ruins, the people who are still here are trying to put a good face on it. And they're not concealing anything from you. He's not the person, Thomas didn't like lie or mislead. But this is sort of, it almost feels like you're on the edge of oblivion here for some reason. Like it's almost like a sense of panic. That's just imperceptible, not necessarily among the people. You just kind of almost feel it in your bones as you're walking around this town.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, it does.
Get Out that Jordan Peele directed?
I know of it, yeah, but I haven't seen it.
There's a great scene where he's dealing with people who are like they're smiling, but they're starting to cry out of this weird frustration. Like they're painting a smile over like sheer panic. Really a powerful scene.
Is that horror movie?
Yeah, it's an excellent movie.
Oh, I've heard it. It's really good. I've been wanting to see it.
So does that make Cassius like uneasy? Like, do you share that with us?
Cassius is definitely uneasy, and he's like, "Hey guys, something doesn't feel right here, and it feels like it's coming from the ruins, and I feel like maybe there's something here having to do with the runes that's even worse than what we had expected. I just have a sense of foreboding, a sense of doom."
It's almost like a vibration that you can almost tangibly feel.
Yeah, it's like a vibration I can tangibly feel. I just feel like something's really off. I feel chaos. I feel something really bad.
Do you mean here in this house or just in the entire city?
In the entire city, like coming outside the village, like just on the cusp. And I feel like it's coming from the outside of the city, but it's definitely seeped inward.
All right. Well, I think I should probably set an alarm, at least to cover.
I would totally do that. Sounds like a good idea.
And not to be insensitive, but when you build your village right next to one of those goddamn ruins, this is kind of what happens.
Right. So like oh my god. So I take this other little potion that I have, and I'm trying to like sprinkle it around like the windows and the doors. And I'm like, I'm doing this little chant as I'm holding my Thor's hammer necklace, my holy object, and I'm trying to do what I can, but you can even tell that I'm kind of shaking, like maybe it's really not doing any good. I have more faith in her alarms than I do what I'm doing, honestly. This whole feeling's just kind of made me feel all shaky and weird.
You cast your spell, Jessica?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm pulling out of my bag this contraption that kind of looks like an octopus, and on the top has a little sphere that has little lights going out in each direction.
Oh, cute!
And I'm gonna start walking around the edge of the property, trying to cast a circle around the home, so that if anything crosses this path, it should alert us And as I finish off the circle, I walk to the center of the home and I put it like right in the middle near the bed area so that while we're sleeping in here, we'll see the light and we'll hear the noise and it'll awaken us quickly.
Okay. So go ahead and cast your spell.
Nice.
All right, so the spell is successfully cast. What does it look like when you complete the alarm spell? Does your device do anything? Is there like a visual or an audible indication that it worked?
Yeah, it's just kind of like a buzzing sound, like electric, that little weird electric buzz. That it's like kind of like I kind of think like those little buzz for the bugs that like get
like a
zapped
bug
into
zapper?
them. Yeah, it's kind of like a bug zapper buzzing in the center.
Okay. Cool. So you know that you nailed it. You know it worked. And sort of breathe a sigh of relief as you are able to bunk down for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys dividing up watch in any certain way throughout the evening, or are you, since you're in a home with an alarm, are you gonna crash?
I think I'm just gonna trust in the alarm and sleep. And I'm picturing if
Same
something
here.
triggers the alarm, it probably sounds like when a moth flies into a bug zapper. Like it just gives off a big ozone smell, like a bzzz, like real loud crackling noise.
You're in for like a world of hurt because that's not what it sounds like when it wakes us up.
Uh-oh. Very good.
Okay.
So we probably do the make camp move.
What's that? I'm sorry, I lost you for a minute.
There's a special move for make camp. Although that, I guess it's up to you to decide if we're actually trigger that if we're in a dangerous enough spot.
Let me look at it.
No, generally we just
For take watch, you mean?
Yeah. No, make camp.
Yeah, make camp is just where you can level up, right?
Yeah.
And get your hit
Level
points
up,
back.
you get hit points back, and you also spend a ration.
All right. And you know what? You don't have to spend a ration if you want to pull food from his stores.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, what's this guy got to eat?
He said jam and
Yeah, like preserved fruit and like dried meats and stuff in his cellar.
He said
Probably a
wine.
little bit of wine. Yeah, there's probably wine. Not great wine, but you know, it's wine. It's got booze in it.
Free wine is great wine.
There
That's
you go.
the only religion that Tina needs.
Oh my god. I take some of the dried fruit and start munching on it.
Perfect.
And I'm gonna take out my bedroll that I have kind of perfectly rolled up, and there's this neatness that Tina is totally not used to seeing from me, and she's just looking at me like, "What? Okay." And
You should just pass out in the corner covered with whiskey bottles. I don't get
yeah, just like sleeping in my own vomit, and you just can't believe this.
It's kind of sad, honestly, seeing you clean.
I know. It's pathetic.
Are you, Jenka and Tina, are you guys concealing Grundy from Cassius, or?
I don't know. I guess I would kind of follow Grundy's lead. I wouldn't necessarily intentionally do that. Just so I don't have much guile when it comes to Grundy. I don't care about that as a secret.
Yeah.
But I probably have it a couple of times, like referred to it as like my doll. And Cassius would at least know that I've lied about that. Like if she hasn't seen it come to life.
Yeah.
I probably think it's some sort of possessed voodoo doll.
Oh, very much. Yeah.
I'm like, dude, what did you pick up? Where did you get that?
And then does Grundy want to protect his secret, or?
He's not volunteering anything unless you guys address him.
Oh, I'm just kind of holding it by his ankle then. I think it's kind of funny to fuck with him. I'm just kind of dangling upside down by his ankle. Like, oh, the goblins had this little trinket, and I've been carrying it around. It amuses me. I'll stuff it back in my pocket. He like bites me. Ah, fuck.
Cassius just kind of shakes his head and thinks to himself that there's probably more to that little trinket than meets the eye.
Well, the night passes uneventfully. The alarm does not go off. Things are quiet in the house and in the town. You wake up the next morning.
I'm pretty pissed off when I get up. Like, I was quite clear that we were staying here, right? Like, Thomas knew he was supposed to tell people.
I don't think he was telling people.
Well, I told him to, and I kind of wanted to avoid going into the ruins after the trouble. I was kind of hoping to draw it out toward us. But I pull my sword out and kind of run the whetstone down his blade one more time. I guess we got to go in.
Thor will protect you.
Yeah, so will my sword.
Jinka, at a certain point, do you dispel the alarm, or do you wait until you guys are leaving the house to dispel it?
I was thinking of just kind of leaving it on.
That might be a good idea.
And just for the. If I can manage, but as soon as we just cross the line, it would deactivate on its own.
Okay. But if somebody approached the house, it would go off.
A creature, but yeah.
Okay.
It says until you prepare spells again, your magic will alert you if a creature crosses that circle.
Mm-hmm.
Because she hasn't lost any spells since the last time she prepared,
right.
She has no need to prepare again. She can
right.
keep going.
Okay.
If we stop and prepare spells like in the ruins, she loses the alarm on the house.
Got it. Okay. But it's a creature, not a person.
Right.
No, a creature would be a person.
Would it be?
Yeah. Will alert you if a creature crosses that circle. So it would be a person, anything that you could classify as a creature, basically. You might determine that there's like a ghost or something that can cross through magical means.
Yeah.
But generally, now it also says it will alert the wizard. So we won't necessarily know. It might not make an audible sound to other people. Janka might be the only one that knows.
Yeah.
That's maybe up to you guys to figure out what the alarm sounds like.
I think it's up to Jinka. It sounded like Jessica had an idea of what she wanted it to sound like. Well, morning breaks, and either the alarm goes off or there's a knock at the door, depending on sort of how alarm works and which is more fun. Is the circumference so much that if somebody walked up and knocked on the door, it would set off the alarm?
Yeah.
Okay, then your alarm goes off. What's it sound like?
Mm-hmm.
It actually it's kind of like an earthquake hits the house, so things start like falling off. Off the shelves, and everyone's just like looking at me like, "What the hell did you do?" And I'm like, "It's the alarm." And we look at the alarm, and it's just turned like a bright red orb in the middle. So I go and I run to it, and I deactivate it, and then we start, I guess, looking out the windows and heading to the door to see what's come.
So, Jenka, as you look out the window, you see two people standing at the door. One of them you recognize right away as Thomas. He's got like a picnic basket in his hand. The other one is a slightly thinner, lither person, sort of on the other side of him from you. So you can't get a good look at the other person, but it's not somebody you recognize right off the bat. You can't get a good look at their face, though. It's a man, slender, longish black hair.
Okay.
And they're both waiting at the door.
Tina, it looks like it's Thomas out there with a friend. I think they're okay.
Now, kind of maybe, does the door have like any paint in it, or is it just a wooden shutter?
It's a wooden door. No glass pane in the door.
Yeah, I'll kind of pop it open and take a step out. Could they hear the earthquaking from outside also, Jessica?
No.
Okay. I'm just like shaking my head. Like I'm still tense. I'm kind of working out. Thomas, good morning. Who's your friend? I see you brought gifts.
Just breakfast. Just brought some food for you. This is Aaron, and you see he's maybe a head shorter than Thomas, and it's an elven man, dark hair pulled back into a ponytail, and he kind of gives you a kind of a courteous nod of the head, but doesn't say anything. It's like, yeah, I brought him because he's knows more about those ruins than I do. He's I don't know. That's his thing.
Aaron, pleasure to meet you. I'm sure that Cassius and Jenko will have lots of questions for you. Let me help you with that, and I'll take the basket.
Okay.
And usher the both of them into the house. Thomas, anybody disappear over the night?
I haven't heard about anybody yet. Doesn't happen every night.
We're putting it into it soon.
It's gotten less frequent as there's less people.
Yeah, it sounds like a numbers. Yeah, that makes sense.
Jenka, as you see the two of them walk in, the elf male, you recognize the face. He's a little bit younger than last time you saw him, but he was sitting in a plain wooden chair. If he's in human equivalents, a 30-something-year-old man now, when you saw him, he was in his 70s. But you recognize the features, you recognize the build. He was one of the people sitting around you in a circle in Elysium. He does not appear to recognize you.
Creepy.
Is he like do I know that he's an elder at this moment, or is he like just a commoner?
He's dressed in sort of scholarly garb, like the Dungeon World equivalent of a professor in a tweed suit. He's definitely not a warrior or an adventurer. He's
right.
And there's nothing to indicate anything that other than he's an elf about your age. And again, doesn't indicate that he knows who you are at all.
Right. I'm just going to go ahead and greet him in the elven way. Since he is, I guess, would kind of be considered an elder, or at least a scholar in my...
Yeah, he'd be like a teacher.
Yeah. I would address him as a teacher. And I would kind of clean up the kitchen and table so they could sit down and we could talk. And
at this point, Cassius is like kind of moving away from the group because this guy who's like way more learned than him really makes him feel uncomfortable. because he can tell, like, he knows things that Cassius doesn't know, and Cassius feels very, I can't think of the word. He feels very intimidated by that. So he's just gonna kind of keep his head down. He's gonna kind of see where the conversation goes.
Okay.
I'm just going to go ahead and address him and say, "Good sir, it's a privilege to meet you. We heard that you could be of assistance. What can you tell us about the ruins?"
It's a pleasure to meet you as well. I have been in this town for a number of years, studying the nearby ruins. They're not overly large; it's just small ruins of our people. But our history is our heritage, right? And so that's why I'm spending just this short time here. But there's a disruption happening. There's something strange happening, and anything I can do to help with the layout of the ruins or the any sort of tricks or problems that might be there, I'm happy to help with it. It's nothing of our making is armed and keeping anyone out or protecting anything, whatever. So this is not our magic that's doing this. But anything that you and your friends could do to cleanse the ruins would mean a lot to me, mean a lot to our people.
Of course, that's what we're here to do. To figure out what's going on and to hopefully get rid of it, of this evil.
Yeah, it's troubling. These people are here for such a short time compared to us. It's a shame to see that even shorter. In the end, the ruins are the most valuable thing. But if we can do something to make life a bit easier for the shorter-lived among us, I suppose that's our duty.
Does he give any indication that there's something else that he wants to tell, but because of the mixed company, he doesn't feel comfortable sharing?
No. He truly, if there is such thing as a coincidence, maybe there is, maybe there isn't, he doesn't seem to have sought you out and doesn't seem to be hiding anything from Thomas. He's truly here as somebody who's been studying these ruins, knows the layout of these ruins, and is willing to help if there's anything he can do. Doesn't seem to be offering to come along.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
He's willing to answer any questions you may have.
Should we invite him to come along?
That's a treasure share.
Oh, that's true.
Is there anything outwardly that you're doing, Jenka, that maybe Tina would key in on, since you've traveled together for a while, to show any discomfort, any surprise, any sort of eerie feelings, or are you keeping things pretty locked down?
I'm probably just like keeping a distance away from him, more than I normally would with people that we usually encounter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more just because I'm trying to figure out if maybe if it's the same guy that I saw, and he's recognizing me, or he doesn't recognize me. Like trying to figure out if he came here to like watch me, or like to be eyes.
Okay. So I think, if I'm hearing Jessica, she's wondering if this is part of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'm picturing from what Josh was describing, this guy will go and live a full life and die and become one of the people who gets to sit in the afterlife and speak to you.
Right.
He doesn't know that's happened yet. This version of him is the young version. You spoke to future him when you were dead.
Right.
So the guy in front of you isn't here to talk to you. He just happens to be somebody who's got like a bright destiny ahead of him. Is that fair, Josh?
I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah. So I don't think this is an invocation of them telling you what they want you to do.
No.
Nonetheless, I still kind of keep my distance from him. So
Sure.
I think Tina would kind of have sat back and watched for a little bit, and there's not a whole lot of information going back and forth. And I'll kind of lean forward. I've probably got some like honey on my face from the snacks in the basket. So what happened? You know, this is a Grand Elven citadel at some point, presumably, and now it's a ruin.
Mm-hmm.
What happened there? Why isn't it a big city anymore?
Well, and you can tell that he's about to monologue the way that like if you met a professor of some really obscure thing and you ask him a question about it, he's going to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, in truth, this was never a grand city of ours. This was an outpost. This was a small stronghold fort, I suppose is what your people would call it. And then
I'm going to interrupt him. Like, that's it. Why did you have a fort here? What were you worried about?
I think all peoples want to expand and explore and learn new things, and you have to have a home base to leave breadcrumbs. But as man tends to do, as human tends to do, man encroached, man spread, and it's no longer comfortable for us here. So we left it. But nonetheless, that's neither here nor there. It's a small outpost for us. Humble.
Are you the only elf in this community?
Oh God, yes. I suppose, and you now.
Yeah. When was the last time that you went to the ruins?
I've been keeping my distance for, to go in the ruins, it's been several weeks, ever since the strange disappearances started happening. I make a point to visit and see what I can see from a safe distance as often as I can, every few days. But I haven't been in several weeks. I'm sure it's a mess in there.
What would be the best angle in which to see from a distance? Like, where do you camp to look?
I can take you to where I watch. There's a bluff, maybe a half a mile away that you can get a good look. You can see if there's anything going on, if there's anything there. Some days there are, and some days there aren't.
Might be a good.
The ruin itself is two-tiered. There's a main floor that you can see from ground level, and then it goes below ground one level. A few rooms on each floor. It's not huge, but something's going on there. Something's changed.
Did anything happen 5-6 weeks back that started all of these disappearances? Did you notice an event, a change, new visitors to town?
No. I didn't see anything. Just what's the phrase that's so lovely that your people use? One day the shit hit the fan. He's very aloof, but he's being Cassius. He's being forthcoming. He's not lying or hiding
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. That makes sense.
He certainly
Jinka, you have a
dismissive though.
gotcha. Jinka, do you have that telescope thingy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe he could show us where that bluff was, and maybe we could go see it before we actually try to go on in.
But the telescope, it was just a staff that telescopes in and out, like it expands. It's not,
Yeah, it's
Oh
not
man,
like
I thought it was a telescope.
Not a looking
Oh,
glass.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, okay. Sorry.
I think what we do is we get to that bluff and then we send Braxton in and we see what happens to Braxton.
Yeah. Just change his name to Fodder.
Oh no.
I'm going to ask a rather weird question, but are there any other magic makers, like wizards or sorcerers or anybody that has those type of powers in this area that you know of? That maybe
No.
they might have cast something within the ruins, tried to summon something through the ruins.
That's an interesting thought. No one that I know of. I haven't seen anybody go in and out, but I'm not a sentry or a guard. I mean, I used to spend my days there, looking for artifacts, studying the layout, the dimensions of the space, especially with how it relates to certain times of year and certain astrological patterns. It's unfortunately how the planets move. Never mind. It's all right. I won't bore you with it.
What
Just say
about
these studies take time.
What about by chance, did you maybe create a map of the ruins and what it kind of looks like, the layout, so that maybe we could have a copy of it?
I have blueprints, but it would take a long time to copy them. But truly, it's, main floor, you walk in, it's one giant room. As you walk downstairs, it's separated into two rooms, a front and a back space, with an open archway connecting them. Each room is equally sized downstairs. It's not an extravagant space. It was utilitarian. You won't get lost.
Have you ever observed it overnight? Do you ever camp out overnight and watch it? Because it seems like
it's lovely at night.
all these disappearances seem to be tied to the night. Nothing ever comes and goes.
Things come and go at strange intervals there now. I mean, I haven't ventured out there in the evening since these strange things have been happening.
I'm going to point toward your alarm device and ask Jenka, how big of a circle can you walk with that thing?
A pretty big circle.
Could you maybe put a line around the tower? We can know if things come and go.
I could try.
Maybe we need to take Aaron up on his offer to take us out to that bluff, and we'll kind of scout it out there.
All right.
Lovely.
I think I'm going to have to cut it pretty quick here also.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Well, we can cut it here or we can cut it at the bluff. Either way.
Let's go ahead and cut it here.
Very cool. So we're going to
Super
find some
fun,
trouble tomorrow.
guys.
Yeah, Morgan, I'm glad you had the opportunity to join us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for being willing to have me. I appreciate it a lot, and I'll get more into my character or decide like, hey, I don't know if I can do this, and I will make up my mind. I promise.
We'll be fine.
Sounds
I
good.
think it's going to be good having a fourth person with us, and I think we kind of started the session tonight with planning to get drunk, and I was pretty playful with it, but I don't think Tina's not fully a humorous character either. So
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
kind of see where we all fit in as we play together. There is at Dungeon World, there is an end of session move that Josh will walk us through, though.
Oh,
Wrap it up.
gotcha. Yeah. Sounds
Yeah,
great.
and this is sort of a we'll go through a couple of different things and see if you have a chance to earn any XP from any of these things.
Okay.
Because in this game you generally get XP either by rolling poorly, by failing with a roll. I think it's kind of the idea that you learn from your mistakes,
Okay.
or by triggering certain moves. So, do you guys want to look at bonds first and see if any of those change? I don't know if any of them necessarily would have tonight, but we can look at them.
Absolutely. I'll start us off. I've got 3 bonds with Jenka. I have Jenka is morbid but useful. I strive to understand her. I have Jenka. Even death doesn't want Jenka. I cannot leap into the flames to save her. Neither of those really came into play today, but I expect we'll have a lot of opportunity next session for them too. And Cassius's ways are strange and confusing. I think that just kind of got solidified by proselytizing and not sleeping in your own vomit. Like I don't get it. So we'll see more about that. So no changes for me.
I actually had closed out of roll 20, but I don't think there were any changes for my my bonds either.
Okay.
I'm going to take a look at mine. Go ahead.
So at this point, you would look at your bonds and see if anything either got resolved or changes. And if it does, you would get an XP. You can only get an XP for 1 bond at the end of a session, even if more than 1 changes. So it's kind of, if one does, then mark the XP. And then Josh will take us on to the next step.
Okay. Alignment. I forgot about alignment. I'm guessing none of those probably happened either. I know that Cassius didn't. She didn't have to. There's no opportunity to be merciful.
Yeah. This is going to be an opportunity or a thing where we can look for other alignment choices for Cassius moving forward.
Yeah.
I found a good website. I'm going to link into Roll20. It's a list of Dungeon World alignment options.
Okay.
And kind of a little discussion of how alignments work. So this might give you a chance to kind of look at what you might want to do if you want to change your alignment.
So
yeah.
Tina, I don't think your alignment happened.
No, I very briefly started talking about why you shouldn't build your city next to a ruin, and I was going to expound on that, but I didn't want to take too much spotlight on it.
I think potentially Jenka's did, though, where you need to learn something about a magical mystery.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I think that we definitely are on our way to that, at least.
Yeah.
I'd say we learned it's a small fort. It's a very small ruin. That's it. Triggered.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so I'd mark XP for that. And then we ask 3 questions. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
I think we did.
Yeah.
I think so, too. So that would be 1. Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
No.
I don't know. Not yet. Did we loot a memorable treasure? I would say not yet on that either.
So at the end of the session,
I was going to say, unless you guys can rationalize something for that.
No.
Francis's house being the memorable treasure.
Yeah, all that dried fruit I ate.
Cheap wine.
Yeah.
No. So normally at the end of the game, at the end of a session, we'll have like maybe 2 or 3 of these triggered. If we play our character mindful of our alignment and bonds, it's pretty easy to trigger those. And then, like Josh said, every time you roll a 6 or lower, you'll trigger them. So tonight, I only earned 2 XP total. 1 for the first beginning of session question, and 1 for learning something new about the end of the world at the end of the session. I earned 2. Normally, you're going to earn a lot more than that. But I think Jenka earned 2 tonight for her alignment and for the party learning something new about the world. And then Cassius would have earned 1. Because the party
Yes.
moving
There-
forward, you'll earn much more quickly. And when we do any sort of combat where there's a lot of rolling going on,
Yeah, you get them really fast, really quickly.
Okay, so I'm gonna put myself as 1, and then that's done. And I'm, it's like I'm playing to play, not for XP. So this is totally cool, and I will get into the swing of it for earning XP.
Cool.
And I
a great
have.
thing-
Oh, go ahead.
A great thing about leveling in here is it's not like in D&D, you add another hit die and you unlock feats. And I mean,
Yeah,
in the world, they tend to be more flavored, thematic things.
I like that
mine-
though. I think that's really neat.
Yeah.
You don't get more powerful as much as you get more versatile,
Yeah, that makes sense.
unless you get Fireball, and then you get more powerful.
Jessica, should I add 2 XP to your sheet for you?
Yes, please.
That's
Cool. Well, I promise there'll be excitement in combat next time. It won't just be exposition again.
Oh, this is
It was
fun.
neat though. I liked it. It was really fun. I like the adventure. I like, it's good to have a good groundwork before we get into combat too. I do like that. So this was really fun, guys. And same time next Sunday.
Probably closer to 8:30. Is that right, Josh?
Yeah, I'll try. It just depends on how agreeable the kiddos
Sounds-
are with bedtime.
Yeah, that's totally cool. And I can even make it for later. I'm sorry, I had questions a little bit earlier as I thought, well, I don't know if they're going to be there or not be there. And so I figured I'd ask sooner rather than later.
No, it's all
No
good.
worries.
Yeah, let's kind of shoot for 8:30, and if looks like I'm going to be able to be earlier, I will let you guys know. Is Easter going to be an issue with any of you guys? Because next Sunday's Easter Sunday.
Oh, I hadn't thought about
Oh,
that.
yeah, I guess it is, isn't it? I'm going to be getting in from out of town and I may be beat.
Sure.
How about I shoot you guys a message and we can just kind of preemptively decide that maybe Cassius found that old wine and he slipped back into his old ways and he's on a bender if for some reason I can't make it.
I'd say it would be maybe a problem. We're going to host a dinner for my folks around 4. I think probably early evening. But Thursday, I don't know what your Thursday looks like, Josh, and I don't know if Thursdays are an option for Morgan. Or Jessica, do you work Good Friday or not?
I think I do.
That sucks. Would Thursday be a potential option for you, Morgan, if we couldn't play Sunday?
I don't have my calendar in front of me. I'm thinking it could be a possibility. Usually I only have a book club on Thursdays, and that's only once a month. So it should be okay, but I can double check and see.
If anything, it would just be this one Thursday. It wouldn't be a recurring Thursday just because of the Sunday.
Exactly. Yeah, I can totally check it out, and then I will message you guys.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, just put it in the group chat if that works for us. Good. If not, then we can think about Sunday. And if
Okay.
we postpone a week, then we can do that. I'd rather, now that we've got you in here, I don't want to play a session with Cassius kind of out in the wings. So
Yeah,
Okay.
and
All right.
For me, Easter Sunday is a Sunday, so it doesn't matter to me either way. And
Yeah.
Thursday, I'm doing dinner with some friends in the evening, but I've always got to be home to get these guys to bed and stuff. So I'm always like back into home base before we would be playing anyways. So Thursday's fine with
Sure.
me as well.
Okay.
we'll be in touch on Google Plus then.
All right.
Alrighty, sounds
Cool.
great. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Good
Night.
night.